like I said, I swear to you, if I didn't have to do this video,
Yeah.
welcome to the Blue Lounge. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's good to be back, to be streaming again with my panel, with my mates, with my friends. It's good to have the panel show back on the Blue Lounge in a new format, in a new style, in a new system. Tuchel is going to have a new system potentially this season, and so is the Blue Lounge. We are. Why do I have? Sorry, technical issue. Let me just remove the logo because I'm blocking Jim's face. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Sorry, Jim. I did that to Monster as well when I had him on my stream. He's like the special guest, and he's in the top corner with my logo right on his face. I do apologize. We're still getting to grips with the new layout. So welcome back, welcome all, lads. As promised, we will have a weekly debate show on the Blue Lounge, and that debate show is Sunday nights around 8 to 9 p.m. depending on the schedule, depending on availability, depending on the news. So your Sunday nights are going to be locked here to the Blue Lounge for you to get access to the panel and debate and discuss all the relevant Chelsea topics and Chelsea news. We're going to have different programming, different formats for the Blue Lounge moving forwards, but this will be the only panel debate show on the Blue Lounge every Sunday night. As you can see, we are welcoming back some old faces, some new faces. There's going to be people jumping in a little while. But as tradition dictates on the Blue Lounge, I will address the people in the chat first before I address my panelists. So let's see who was here early doors. Fadid Samuel, Dembele at Chelsea. Fadid, we'll address that because some are saying he's already put ink on paper, but it's not going to be official just yet because he's still officially a Barcelona player until the end of this month. That's when his contract expires, and that is when he can be, officially moving to Chelsea. But some have said that he's put ink to paper. Dembele isn't signing, sadly. Well, we'll see. We're going to be discussing that. Who else is in the channel? Eric Dugan, big up my man Mo, big up Eric. Good to see you in the chat. Jeff, my sheep are going to the World Cup. Alright, listen, congratulations to Wales. I gotta say that. Congratulations to Wales. Well done on making it into the World Cup. Pardew, one of our own, will be there representing his home country of Wales. So congratulations to them. And talking about people who made it to the World Cup, didn't make it to the World Cup. Chris, big up to you. Unlucky for Scotland not to actually qualify, but it is what it is, and better luck next time. Chris says, like, share, subscribe. I'll be here later, so don't worry, everybody. The party will still happen. I'm not at the start. Gutted over my nation not being in Qatar. Yep. Sorry for that. So my preseason starts. My preseason starts now. Keep the blue flag flying high. Big up to you, Chris. Welcome. Hopefully, we'll see you in the panel shortly. Ilyas, big up to you, Ilyas. George. Good evening, ladies and gents. Greece to smash Kosovo. Dembele to La Blues. Come on, you Blues. Big up to you, George. Always a pleasure. Ali Louet, welcome. A channel member. Big up to you, Ali. ITM, welcome. Governor, welcome. CFC supporter, big up to you. Pete, the Newcastle fan, shout out to Wales. Big up to you, Pete. Welcome. Gabrielle, you have access to the link if you want to jump on. Big up to you. Big up to everyone. Chelsea 2012, Lukaku out. Yeah, it's in the thumbnail. We're going to be talking about that. And Hanu, what's Hanu saying? Big up everyone. And Nippin, the legend. and the host of the greatest sports channel. Big up to Nipin, big up to Hanu, big up to everyone. Guys, wow, it's been a while since I've actually said that and addressed all you guys in the chat. You guys are filling in the chat box quite quickly. Before I say hello to Jem and the rest of the boys, I didn't see nobody's talking about likes in the chat, so I'm gonna say it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and if you do subscribe, turn that bell notification button on. I would very much appreciate it. The host of GNA TV, Jem, big up to you, my man. Welcome. How are you?
I am good, mate. I am good. A little bit tired with the whole house move, but I'm good, and I'm looking forward to the whole transfer saga at Chelsea. Not only for players coming in, but also leaving the football club, along with potential new main sponsors as well, which we're yet to find out who that will be as well. So there's
Yep.
quite a lot gonna be going on with Chelsea. So yeah, all good, and thanks for having me on again.
No, it's my pleasure. Thanks for coming on. Really appreciate that. And yeah, there is a ton to talk about. There is a ton to talk about. And before I forget, the topics of tonight's show. The topics of tonight's show. We're going to talk about Ousmane Dembele potentially being the first signing under Todd Boehly. Potentially. It's going to be a close race between him and Kunde by the looks of things. Lukaku on the way back to Inter Milan and how that is transpiring. How is Todd Boehly gonna address this transfer window, which officially opens on the 10th of June? And also, what can we expect from Tuchel in regards to building his system, his squad, moving forwards? That is the areas of discussion, and these are the topics we'll be talking about tonight. I'm gonna say hello to my man Julius. Big up to you, Julius. How are you? How you doing?
Good to see you all. I'm good. Thanks for having us back.
Welcome. It's good to have you back. It's good to have you back. You're actually a member of this show and also my Friday night show, which is going to be the transfer news show. Hopefully, another one of the ideas that we're working on the Blue Line. So, guys, you're gonna get bored of Julius. You're gonna see him twice a week, Friday night and Sunday night. Big up to you, Julius. A new addition to the panel. We welcome Mr. NS. Is it NS Sports TV? Nipin. Welcome,
Yeah.
Nipin. Tell me how you're feeling, and also tell me a little bit about your channel. Let's get the people in the chat to learn a little bit about your channel, Nipin.
My channel is called NS Sports TV. I cover all sports and football from all different teams. My first ever non-football related watch along will be the Wimbledon final, the women's final and the men's final. So that will be next month. And I might also be doing stuff for Formula One throughout the off season as well. And I'm covering all the England games in the Nations League as well.
And
Since
and
a lot
that's
of
why
the other
it's nipping sports rather than nipping football, nipping
or
because you cover
Chelsea,
all.
yeah.
Yeah, sweet, fantastic. Well,
Yeah,
guys,
sorry.
I
Also,
actually, so 1 second, Nippin. I've actually put in my community tab a link to Nippin's channel. So if you haven't seen that, go click on that and subscribe to Nippin. Sorry, Nippin, you were about to say something.
yeah, I just do all sports because I want to get every fan involved in
Wicked,
my
fantastic.
with my channel, and
All
not just
right, well,
Chelsea.
brilliant. Well, good luck with that, and hopefully we will show your channel some love from the people in the chat. Subscribing and following. Boogeyman, welcome back. I know you've had a busy day today. How are you? How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here talking Chelsea again. We found ourselves in one unique situation where we have a new beginning as a Chelsea fan. New owner, probably new board of management, and one or two signing. It should be a new beginning, and with the coach and everybody. there should not be a reason why we should not be excited. Because not a lot of team in Europe right now can should envy. Oh, we should be envying right now. We are in the best position. We play Champions League, and I think it's good to be Chelsea fan going to the next season at this point. Anyways, new beginning, and hopefully we do something with it next season.
All right. Yeah, definitely a new beginning. And I want to start the show tonight by addressing one hot topic. And that hot topic is Ousmane Dembele. Ousmane Dembele. Apparently, this is a player who is on his way to Chelsea Football Club. As per reports by a number of journalists, some are talking about it in a more passive manner, and some are pursuing it in a very aggressive manner, talking about it like it's already been done, like it's a matter of it just being announced. Medical and announcement, and he can wear the Chelsea shirt and start training with the lads. That's how close we are to Ousmane Dembele. Others are talking about, negotiations have been made, but there is still more to be discussed, etc., etc., etc. I'm gonna pose you guys a question to where do you think we are in respect to Ousmane Dembele and his transfer, but I also want you to address, and I know we've done this on this channel before, but we've talked about his history, but I want to just have a quick gander at it again before we start talking, because has he turned a corner in regards to his injuries, or is it just another spell, fitness? I'm going to bring back on your screen the table that we've seen many times on this channel. And if we look back to his last injury, the last time he missed any games due to injury was December 29th to the 5th of January, where he had COVID. And he missed a week. 2 games to be exact. Before that, he was out for 18 days with a hamstring injury. Before that, he was out for a few months, nearly 5 months due to a knee injury, and etc., etc., etc. He hasn't been injured, or he's not had an injury since November 22. Sorry, November 22, 2021. He's had COVID, but that's not an injury, that's more of an illness. So he hasn't really been injured since November last year. I'm going to start with Jim. Has Ousmane Dembele turned a corner? And is he on his way to Chelsea? Welcome, Jim.
I think the real key thing when you look at these injuries, because when I first sort of looked at it, I was a bit caught by it. And when I originally heard links to Dembele being linked to Chelsea, I was very worried about what we call the NHS bill. Obviously, we've got the Christian Pulisic saga with him and his injuries, and both being very young and being injured is not very good for a team that needs players consistently to be fit for rotation, for the amount of competitions that we play in. We need these players. When you look at the injuries that he's actually sustained over them 4 years, they're all muscular injuries. They're not actual being tackled, physical injuries. These are injuries that he suffers maybe from fatigue. It could be sort of other elements, but they're mainly what it is muscular injuries. So, he had that long sustained. I don't know if you could bring it back up again. There was one injury that he had. I don't know how, it was quite a long period. It must have been about 100 and saying odd days or something like that. I need to have a look. 191 days he was out, but he missed around.
There's this one, 134, and this one is 191.
Yeah, he's torn muscle bundle, a knee injury. When you look at the injuries that he's sustained, they're all sort of like they're injuries that you're able to get over. They're not like ACL torn injuries and things like that where they put you out for ages and you're not sure whether they're going to come back. And the good examples of them is when you look at people like Callum Hudson-Odoi, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, people that have suffered from these serious injuries. And I just feel, has he turned the corner? Well, the answer to that would be at the moment potentially, because He hasn't been injured for a very very long while now. The worrying thing with him coming to Chelsea is not it is keeping him fit, but also having the rotation available. So it's all right bringing in a player like Dembele to Chelsea, but you want to make sure that you've got players that you can rotate with him. What you don't want to do is make him play 40, 50 games a season and then pick up an injury, like I said, from fatigue to the muscle and etc. And that's where it usually, when he does get injured, that's where he usually tends to pick up his injuries from. It's not usually when he gets a big whack on the pitch and he goes down and he's gone. Do you know what I mean? So look, I've already said in terms of him coming to Chelsea, I feel that it's not a high risk, it's a low risk reward for when you think about it, it's a low risk reward for a high potential in terms of ability and what he possesses. And when you look at his ability as a player, I'd actually say in terms of being direct and being able to take players on and actually what Chelsea need. When I say that, I mean creating the space, dragging players wide, being the most creative player. I think he's played 15 games in a row for Barcelona where he's created 14 or 13 assists this period as well. Just goes to show me that he is something that we need. What worries me with him is bringing him in and not having the person at the end of it to take them chances. He does need to score more goals. You could look at his record and realise that his assists are a lot higher than his goals, not only from Barcelona, but going back to his days at Thomas Tuchel.
Jim, I want to talk to you for 1 second before we go and talk about his attributes. I want to go back to the injury situation for one second. This is a point that I've made a couple of times, and I want to know if you agree or disagree. But and this is to the rest of the panel as well. And do you guys think that his injury is driven by his lack of enthusiasm with the team he's with right now? And maybe when Xavi came over and took over Barcelona, maybe he felt a little bit more motivated to perform. The fact that his contract is about to expire and there's a move on the horizon, give him that incentive to not be injured, to perform, to play, to get some minutes under his belt because he wants to have a decent move away from Barcelona at the end of the season. Therefore, is it right for us to assume that his injury issue is more maybe mental than it is physical? Do you sense that? Do you think that is the case? What's your opinion on that?
Well, supposedly he has a bit of a mentality issue, i.e. when it comes to training.
Attitude,
Yeah, an attitude issue, yeah. So he tends to have a bit of an issue when it comes to training. He's like one of these guys that turns up, knows he's very good, but it's not always the best of trainers. And maybe you're right. Maybe it could be the attitude, the mental aspect of it, why he picks up these injuries. I'm not too sure. Is it fatigue? When I look at the amount of games that he's played in between the injuries that he's had, he hasn't played many games. He plays games, but he tends to, especially through periods before Xavi was around, he sort of came off the bench a lot of the time as well. He was never always starting games. So it's very weird to actually determine why he's getting them, why he's got these injuries. But what I would say is that a fully confident Dembele, a player that is being backed by a manager, and going back to what I said about Thomas Tuchel, obviously being his manager once before, I think if you get him on the, get him firing, put an arm around him, tell him you're the man, get him on the pitch. I think his ability is very, very, very high, and I think it's something that Chelsea could benefit from massively, especially from his pace, his dribbling ability, being able to take people on, drag people out of position, but ultimately his pace. And he is, I'm telling you now, I thought Timo Werner was quick. This guy is quick, and the ability with both feet, Mo, to be able to have the right and the left, like he can cross with both, he can shoot with both.
Corners.
You don't know which way he's going to go. Yeah, it's a nightmare for defenders. So we're getting him for free. The only thing I would say is we have to get the wages right. If we can get the wages right with him, because he's still very young, he's probably going to demand quite a bit, depending. I don't know what we've not been involved in or been told about what sort of wages he would be looking for him. But all we know is it might be a potential 4-year contract for Dembele as well. So I don't know. It's all stuff that we've still got to wait to see. The transfer market opens on June the 8th, and we just go from there.
All right. And guys, like I said to you earlier on, it's an open debate. So anybody wants to interject and give me their thoughts, go right ahead.
Yes, I'll take it from here. Oh God, my throat. Listen, Dembele has not turned any corner. Anybody that think that Dembele with all those injury history has turned any corner now, has not turned any corner. This is EPL. He has all those injury in La Liga. EPL, you're going to get found out at one point. You can be the best players. You have to be able to handle those tackles. You have to be able to handle those pushing. You have to be able to defend once in a while also. And you can just think about Eden Hazard. How many times that kid get kicked in the EPL pitches in this league? So Dembele, with all those histories, I think the question should be, what kind of lifestyle that Dembele has? Sorry, man. What kind of lifestyle Dembele has, and what exactly Chelsea medical team are thinking about his injury history. If they're willing to take it and manage it properly, then I will trust them. And Dembele lifestyle should be key. I don't know him that much, but I know mentally, or his attitude stinks. Because I don't know any players that put themselves into a situation or mental position where you get injured or you don't play well because you want a contract. We saw Rudiger, the exact, yo man, my throat is dry. I need to go get water. Anyways,
Get some water.
we saw Rudiger. Rudiger is getting close to the end of his renewal. We saw how the performance was. This guy attitude stink. Whether he worked well with Tuchel in the past or not, it should not be a reason why we all just line behind him. If
I'm gonna have to interrupt you, Boogie. I'm gonna have to interrupt you. I see where you're going with this. And to a certain degree, I also think it'd be unwise for us not to look at it because, this is a player that could demand the high wages, and him coming in with issues could backfire. However, everything that Jem just said in respect to his abilities and what he brings is also spot on.
no, I agree.
So,
100%. Sorry.
so he has two sides to him.
No,
He
I
has a
agree with
very
Jim.
very good side and a very very dark side as well. Yeah,
No
go
problem.
ahead,
I
buddy.
agree with Jim. But what I'm saying is, fans should not be only looking at that bribe side of Dembele's coming to Chelsea. The thing is, it's all about. We know we're all behind Tuchel. So what Tuchel wants, we tend to just line ourselves behind it. But the problem with Dembele is even in Barcelona, we know what his attitude was. It was not the right attitude for as a professional footballer. I'm pretty sure everybody on this panel knows that what he was been doing in Barcelona was not good. As even if you're not getting the most respect, even if you're not being Neymar was in the team, you're not been playing often and all those things. It's a copycat Lukaku. Lukaku is just a little bigger. That's all it is. You're not getting what you want, then you're showing it. We don't want those type of player in this team because we are rebuilding with youngsters. So that's my issue with Dembele. Okay, I'll just stop now.
All right, go ahead, Jim. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just be real quickly because I know the other guys got to talk. But when you talk about the attitude, why I just still feel that it outweighs the good, still outweighs the bad with him. And it's not even just the fact that we're not even spending anything. All right, the wages might not be an issue, but you talk about the attitude, but you're forgetting who he's coming to play for. A manager that loves him, a manager that knows him very well, a manager that several times picked up the phone and spoken to this guy. Why in hell is he going to have the attitude with a manager that he wants to play for? Part of the reason he's coming to Chelsea is because of Thomas Tuchel, not because of Chelsea. So he knows how Thomas Tuchel plays, and Thomas Tuchel knows him. And in terms of the attitude thing, I look at Thomas Tuchel, and when you look at the type of manager he is and the mentality of being able to work with these bunch of players throughout the periods that he's been with the sanctions and whatever, I just feel that he would look, any issues with someone like Dembele, he would deal with it quite easily. He's known him since he was a kid. He got the best out of him, if you think about it, in many ways under Dortmund times. So I don't worry about the attitude thing. I think we will have a player in our hands that will want to play for this manager and show us what he's about at a young age still. And that can be a real big problem for teams. I really do.
I'm actually going to go ahead and say this. The attitude that he has is the attitude that we want. And I'll tell you why. Because the attitude that he had under Tuchel is the attitude that made Barcelona splash a ton to buy him and bring him over to Nou Camp. I think the attitude is an issue. He's a young man, so he is still developing his personality, his mentality, his mindset. And I think when he is in an environment that he feels love and he feels respect and he feels there is someone there that is looking out for him, he is going to give you the right attitude. When that isn't present, he's going to give you the attitude that we are fearing. So I agree with Boogie, and I also agree with with Jim in respect to, we could see either side. All it takes is for him to have a falling out with Tuchel, and then all of a sudden we got Barcelona, Dembele at Chelsea, and that is not what we want to see. Before I'll go to Julius and Nippin, I wanted to say hello to Podfather. Podfather, how are you? Welcome to the show.
I'm good, thank you. Glad to be here.
Welcome. It's good to have you on, man. It's good to have you on. Yeah, I'll hear from Julius and Nippin, and then you're welcome to jump in at any point in time. So, I know people that come on my show they're used to the structure of having it delegated, but I want to break that system. I want to make it a more fluid show, and I will jump in and I will moderate when need be. But guys, if you think of something, you want to say something, go ahead and do it. You don't have to wait for me to delegate. But I'm going to delegate now, and I'm going to hand the mic over to Julius. Julius, your thoughts on this, brother?
Yeah, thanks, Mo. I usually like in the beginning to listen to everyone's point, which will help me to build my ideas better as well. There is good things and bad things with signing Dembele. The only thing that worries me mainly, not the attitude or any of that, because I think Tuchel wants him and they've worked together and they were brilliant together. But what worries me is let's think about it this way. We have Pulisic, we have Ziyech, we have Mount, and Werner. And let's say Lukaku leaves the club. We signed Dembele.
You forgot Callum.
Callum. Okay, yeah. Ziyech is injury prone. Pulisic is injury prone. And Callum is inconsistent. Werner is Werner. He can be unreal. He can be a joke. He's also very inconsistent. Let's say we sign Dembele and he gets injured. We go back to square zero like last year. And this is not that I'm against signing Dembele. I want to sign Dembele. But we also need to think of the risks. Because I don't want to be in a situation in December, Dembele is injured, Ziyech is injured, and have an injury crisis like last year, and we're struggling, season is gone. So when we're signing players, in my opinion, we would need to evaluate the risks, and if this happens, what is our plan B to continue our season without being jeopardized or without going through hurdles that would basically ruin our season. So I don't think signing Dembele as a front, let's say as a forward, is enough in our case. Because let's say we sell Lukaku, we get Dembele in, we still need, I think, another forward player.
Are you comparing Lukaku and Dembele as in players for the same position? Is it because I don't
No. I'm looking at it as a forward entity, like as like the front line, and I'm just thinking Dembele would be an unreal addition. I'm so excited for him because ability wise amazing, and this is the longest period he hasn't got injured. I looked at all the years before. He usually gets injured every 2-3 months. Now it's been 6-7 months, if you don't want to count COVID, even longer, when he hasn't got injured.
7 months. Yeah.
And also that's going to come down to how Tuchel manages his minutes alongside the others wingers. So yeah, when we have Ziyech, Pulisic, Dembele, they can all rotate. Callum Hudson-Odoi, Mason Mount can also play in this position. That's good if we can manage the minutes and protect them from injuries. But we also need another striker. And I think we need to get rid of Lukaku and get a replacement. And if we do that, then I think Dembele and another striker would be perfect.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Lukaku in a few minutes. We are
Yeah.
going to address the Lukaku situation, but another aspect in respect to him coming, Dembele coming, is we will have to sell one of the attackers, and a lot of reports have been linking Pulisic with a move to Juventus, AC Milan, and more recently Liverpool. Believe it, disbelieve it, these are reports that are currently being discussed. However, is Pulisic the player that should be sold to make room for Dembele? Is that
No.
really the right choice?
No, absolutely not. Because he's 20, 21, 22. What are we doing? If we sell Pulisic, like it just doesn't make any sense. Like Pulisic is not an issue for Chelsea. The main issues was Lukaku, to be honest with you, because every one of us, including the media and all the pundits, all the ex-footballers, what we were saying, Chelsea was lacking a finisher, a striker that can consistently score goals and can also consistently show up when all the other boys are not having the best performance. Because you can't expect Mount, Pulisic, and Ziyech, and Hudson-Odoi, and all the other players we have up front to score every week. Havertz, another one. They all are going to have good patches throughout the season. They're going to slow down. We need that striker up front that can consistently deliver. And that is something we have been missing. So Pulisic can turn it around. Also, you have to look at the business side. Pulisic, with also the new American owners, they're gonna probably use him as the face of Chelsea in North America and to make the club more money. So that is also very beneficial. It's not only about what's happening.
I agree with you 100%. Pulisic has a lot of marketing value, a lot of promotion value for Chelsea in the North American region. Selling him
To a rival
would be,
as well.
yeah, especially to a rival, it would be a mistake. But I think the issue of him not getting game time, not playing in the position he ideally prefers, is something that we should be addressing rather than thinking about moving him. My opinion, the best player to be sold to bring in Dembele would be Timo Werner. And the reason why I say that is because of the lack of form included with the wage. I think him being taken off our wage bill, adding Dembele on would be quite easy to do, and it wouldn't be such a big increase. I think both Pulisic, Callum, and Ziyech are not on wages that would be suitable for Dembele or what he would be demanding as a free transfer. Before I go to Nipin and to the Podfather, I want to welcome a good friend and someone who hasn't been on for quite some time. It's good to have you back on, MDT. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Well, thanks for having me. Greetings to everyone on the panel. Sorry, I just let me jump on and keep you guys company for a bit until the kids start screaming in the background.
Welcome, MDT. Welcome. I'm just gonna go to Nipin and then I'll come back to you. How much time do you have? Are you able to stay for a while?
No, yeah. I'll stay for a bit. Yeah, it's just the kids they're getting ready for bed. They chatting in the background. Sorry about that.
No worry. It's all good. It's all good, brother. It's all good. It's good to have you back. And people in the chat are already acknowledging the fact that they've missed you. So welcome to the show, MDT. Let me go to Nipin. Nipin, your thoughts on this Dembele situation, mate?
Look, man, if there is any manager that can get a tune out of Ousmane Dembele, it's Thomas Tuchel. His injury record, well, it speaks for itself. But like a lot of other panelists have said, he has not been injured since November. So that's good news. But knowing Chelsea, the injury record could strike. But look, like I said, if there's any manager that can get a tune out of Dembele, it's Tuchel.
All right, sweet. Yeah, well, he's done it in the past. He'll do it again.
Look,
Podfather.
and
Are
sorry, I
you
want to.
wanna-
Yeah, I want to.
I thought you were done. Go ahead.
No, I'm not done. I'm not done. And I've also,
ahead.
and this was when this was like 5-6 years ago, when both Mbappe and Dembele were up and coming youth talents from France. All the French news outlets, the mainstream ones, were saying that Dembele was the more gifted player. So if that's anything to go by, you never know.
You know what? Dembele is very skillful. He, I mean, the attributes that were mentioned by Julius, Jem, and we've all seen what Dembele can do on the pitch. He has a ton of attributes. Does he have more attributes, better attributes than Mbappe? I think Mbappe is a better finisher. He's a better goal scorer. Dembele is probably a better creator, a better winger than Mbappe. But when it comes to scoring goals and putting the ball in the back of the net, I think Mbappe is way better than Dembele.
It's not me saying it. It's what I was hearing from all the French news outlets all those years ago.
Sure. And Mbappe was a Chelsea supporter growing up. I think he was a big fan of Drogba. Unfortunately, we never quite managed to secure him when he was a Podfather. Give me your thoughts on the Dembele story, mate. I know you keep going.
Yeah. So
take it away, brother. Take it away.
Yeah. Yeah. So I tend to take anytime I hear like a player has a bad attitude, I tend to take it with a pinch of salt because there's always a lot of behind the scenes. All of a sudden, when a player doesn't want to sign a contract or is trying to leave, all of a sudden you get more stories. Yeah, there've been issues about like his timekeeping in the past or whatever. I've heard like actual credible Spanish journalists talk about it, and they were like, it was more like an adaptation for him moving to Barcelona at 19, not knowing anybody there, having his friends there who apparently were like leading him astray and stuff like that, like keep him up, not being the best professional environment for him, and a lot of those friends he's slowly like whittled down and got rid of. The club has spoken behind the scenes to him, and it's been a while since where we've had like, he didn't show up for training, which was the main issue. Where it was never like talking back to the coach or fighting with his teammates or like not listening to tactics. It was always literally just late coming, not showing up for training on time or not being as fit as possible. And that was about 2 years ago, really, that we're talking about a lot of those reports. Another thing is his injuries. So I think when you're looking at somebody's injury record, what you want is you don't want a situation where they're having the same injury over and over again, because then that means like there's a consistent problem, whether it's with the knee, where he has a back problem and stuff like that. So, but a lot of his injuries have been different, which shows that it could just be a growing pains thing. Because if you look at the videos of him when he was at Dortmund and the videos of him now, he looks totally different. He's bulked out. He looks taller. Like a growth spurt causes a lot of injuries. I think Haaland is going through a similar thing now. At Dortmund, he's been having a bunch of injuries because his body shape, body size, body type is changing and stuff. So I'm willing to be optimistic when it comes to the injury record. And another thing people have to remember is that as soon as you get this guy on a free, you've instantly made 15-20 million back anyway, because you can sell him and you go him on a free. Now the key to that is whatever high money we're going to pay for him should be in the signing on fee rather than the wages. Because if it's in the wages, then it's harder to shift him. So he might just decide to run out his contract. You get him on 300k a week.
That's an excellent point. That's an excellent point. And I And
You
I
get him
think,
on 300k a week. It's hard. Yeah.
Sorry, Pod. And I just wanna interrupt you for a second here because this is the kind of thing that I'm gonna assume Todd Boehly will be keen to do. You know, let a player wants to make some money, fine. We'll do it in a way where will make you better off, but at the same time not hinder the club by having a player that has a massive risk factor, because he does have a risk factor.
Yeah.
So we don't want to have that risk factor transferred to us, but rather we'll give you a big signing on fee, but we're also going to give you a reasonable contract where it's not going to be a problem for us, further down the line. And if we were to have a successful season with you, injury free, blah 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 blah, next season we will automatically renew with this wage package. It can be done in there's a multiple different ways we can do this, and I think in the past we were just too quick to agree a fee and a wage and move on when it comes to the initial wage fee, because we know Marina Galaskaya doesn't do negotiations with extensions quite as good as she does when it comes to signing them players. Again, I apologize for cutting you off.
No, that's all right. So yeah, I think that's key in terms of the sign off. A lot of clubs, what they like to do, they like to put the sign-in fee with the wages, so they can pay you over time, because they don't want to spend 10 million or 15 million at one go. But I think we need to resist that and make sure that that's paid separately. So when we're trying to move him on, if it's not successful, it's not a matter of another club having to match his wages, and we can actually move him on. We're actually moving on to clubs who feel that they can afford him, because they'll be signing not to 300k a week or anything like that. So for me, I think if this deal is done right, then it's pretty low risk. It's pretty low risk, and there's a big possible upside. Like I said, the minute he comes into the door, that's an asset. That's a 20, 30, 40 million asset on your books. If he works out well, that's a 60, 70 million asset on your books straight away. So, like I said, it's all about I expect them to be some sort of like creative accounting and a way where the payment is structured. Maybe you even pay him most of his thing in bonuses, appearances, amounts of goals he scores, the assists. Like there are all sorts of ways to do it. I think we just have to be smart. Roman is not around anymore, so our sugar daddy is gone. So basically, we need to be very smart the way we use our money now. And I think this would be a good test for the club to see how they structure this contract going forward, whether they're serious about making us a sustainable club going forward. In terms of his talent level, I think is undeniable. It's not just the French media that said it, like Nippon said. Tuchel said it as well when it was interviewed. Who's the most naturally gifted player you've worked with? And he said it was him at 17. Yeah. And it's a known discussion that happens around players in football. Not just like everybody talks about this boy's talent and raves about it. You can literally watch him and just not know which foot he uses, whether it's the right or the left. He can play on either one. You just don't know. It crosses with the left, shoots with the right. He's a real talented boy. So yes, I think
that's a priceless commodity when it comes to wingers.
It is. I think we could just be getting him at the best time in his career, because even all people that are worried about the injuries, a lot of them want to sign Ian Robben. And Robben had a similar injury history at Chelsea. He was still able to contribute to titles won and played a pivotal part, And then as he got older, he was able to manage his injuries more. So let's hope this is the case with Dembele going forward.
Yeah, spot on. I'm going to bring in MDT, and then I'll open the discussion for you guys for about 15 minutes before we move on to Lukaku. MDT. You know the story. You've heard the rumours. You've read the reports. It looks like Dembele to Chelsea is either done, and we're just waiting for it to be announced, or it's very close, depending on which journalist you're listening to. We've discussed the injury issue. We've discussed his ability as a player for Chelsea. moving forward? A French young talent with possibly attitude issues, possibly injury problems, but definitely has a lot of talent. Where do you stand on his situation?
Um, to be honest with Ousmane, I'm not like I was never concerned. Even last year when people were talking about, oh, we don't need him, his injury issues and stuff like that attitude. I think sometimes people forget this. There's a cultural barrier when it comes to how you judge certain people. I mean, sometimes certain culture accept certain things, certain culture, whatever. If somebody's raised up differently to you, you might think certain things are attitude issue, but for them it's not. You just have to educate them. Say, okay, you are in this environment, whatever. That kid left home at how old and went to Dortmund. A year, I think 1 year in Dortmund, and then he was
Yep.
on his way to Barcelona, teammate to Messi or whatever. It's like saying Zlatan have attitude when he was young. He was playing with superstars, but that's the thing. For me, it was lateness issue because what he did when he moved to Dortmund, he didn't move with his parents. His friends he grew up with, they moved with him. They were living in his home. All they do is play PlayStation all night. For a professional footballer, that's not right. Okay, but the thing that has changed in his life in the past year or two, he's married. He's married now, so he doesn't spend that time with the friends and stuff like that. The married change, being married. That's why Arsene Wenger used to encourage young footballers to settle early because he give you longevity and also it stopped you from doing certain stupid things. For me, that was the issue because he didn't have, when he goes to training and come back home, he doesn't have anything to do. All he do is hang with his friends. And for a player, that's wrong. Now that's been taken care of. That's why you didn't hear anything for the past year or so about his lateness or whatever, because he has a wife, he has family now at home. With his injury record, yeah, that's true. When a young player busts through, when they grow in, they will have growth spurt, and that come with injury. Ruben went through it, and Callum is going through it, because what happened is you're not fully ready yet. You have everything, whatever, but you're not fully ready. Even Pulisic goes through that. People think that that's a problem because when you start having certain injuries, when your muscles are not built up properly, you should take a back seat to treat it properly. But each time they're rushing you because the team needs you at Dortmund, that's what happened. So what happened? You keep getting injured. If you're not careful, it will affect your career in the long run. That's why when you look at in some countries, they don't let the young players play too much. Like if you play half a season, the second part of the season, they will give you a break. Or they will play you bit by bit. But in England and in Germany, they play young players early and a lot. Sometimes if you check, most of the German young players, people were raving about, they didn't have long careers. I'm talking about the one that started young. People were talking about whether it's the Götze, whether it's the Royce, the Michael Royce, whether it's the Andres Schuler. Just check them. The ones that burst into the scene very early in Germany. Even that guy that came to, what's his name? Crystal Palace. Is it Meyer? And Chelsea signed that. Yeah, Crystal Palace. They signed a young German, the captain of Schalke at a young age. He came to Crystal Palace 3 years ago. He was a flop there because he started at 16.
Not necessarily.
No, I mean,
Tony Cruz.
I mean, look at Michael Owen. Michael Owen didn't have no. Tony, that's the thing. Tony Cruz didn't break into the Bayern team until in his 20s.
No, he broke into the Leverkusen team.
No, they send him on loan. Kimmich, Lam, Tony Cruz, they were all sent on loan. They didn't break as a superstar early, like this other one, like Götze and whatever. Even Michael Owen, when did he break? Very early. Because growth spurt, it happened with...
Sorry, but Tony Cruz was a German international in his, in the 2010 World Cup. He got called up to the German.
2010, how many years ago? He's 34 now, 34, 35, isn't he? So 20, how old was he?
He turned 32 in January.
Okay, 20. He was 20 then. If it's 20, whatever you're talking about, because it was the Brazil World Cup, isn't it? That was his first World Cup, not the South African one. Is it?
His first World Cup was South Africa.
South Africa. That means he was 20. Exactly. So he was not 17, 16 like Kai Havertz and them lot breaking in early. He didn't break into the Bayern team early. So that's what I'm talking about. When a player started early, what happened? They will have injuries in their life. That's normal most of the time. So for me, the injury thing, and also Barcelona used to bring him early. Dembele will be injured for 6 weeks. Barcelona will play him because they were desperate. They need him. There was no players there. Okay, so when that happened, a player is not given time to recover properly. Obviously, they will re-injure themselves. They will keep re-injuring themselves. So for me, we will see. But one thing I always agree, I always said, and now Pop Father said it as well, it is better to give a player a 20 million, 30 million signing on bonuses and give him anything between 5 to 10 million on a wage. It's easier to move. But Chelsea don't like doing that. Chelsea like to pile everything up. But hopefully these new owners will do the business sense, because when you give them the signing on bonus, it's better because financially it makes sense, because when you're ready to move them, it's easier to move them. Like Malan Sarr, the money they paid him, that's stupid. If at all they give him 5 million signing on bonuses, they could have given him like a 40K a week contract, which is easier to move. But if you don't give them a signing on bonuses, you add it all on, pile it up all on wages, it's harder to move. So I hope the new owners will see that. For Dembele, the risk and reward, that's the thing. It depends how we manage it. If we manage it well, we have a player that we can sell if it doesn't work. But all depends how the contract is structured.
And DT, the point you've just made here is something that everyone on this panel has highlighted. The risk and the reward factor for this player, because this player is one that has high high expectations for both. We all expect him to give us a lot, but at the same time we're all afraid that he could cost us a lot, and that's why both levels of the equation here are quite steep. I'm gonna give 15 minutes open discussion on this topic. So anybody can jump in and add any food for thought that they want to add to this particular topic. Now that we've heard everyone's opinion on this, we've got 15 minutes of open discussion before I move and discuss Romelu Lukaku being a player on the way out. So let's take it away. Whoever wants to go first, jump in, take the mic, and give me your final thoughts on the Dembele situation.
I want to make a quick point. I'll be very quick regarding Dembele's story on social media, especially on Twitter. And I've noticed that there is a lot of toxicity and accusations towards specific journalists. I'm not going to mention names, but there is something that I want people to understand is sometimes as a journalist, you may make mistakes, you may get wrong information. It happens. Fabrizio Romano, one of the biggest legends in journalism when it comes to transfers, made wrong calls from time to time, and I just don't understand why when you see someone rising, when you see someone working hard and trying to build himself, people, and I'm going to say it, to be honest, especially in England, they like to target them, they like to put them down, and those same people advocate about mental health, and they try to say, "Oh, we are here to support you if you need anything. We're all one family where we work together." Blah blah blah, all that nice talk, but then they are so quick to target specific people and try to hurt their credibility, their image, and to basically try to destroy their careers. I find it very disturbing and very unfair. Just let people leave. Let them do their thing. Why are you bothered to see someone else succeeding? What is it? What is it? What's if someone posts something? What is it going to? How is it interfering with your work? Is it? It's not hurting you. Do your thing. Let people do their thing. That's it. Just stop that
Yeah.
toxicity. That's what I wanted to
Yeah.
highlight.
I'm actually gonna comment on this specifically because I have some things I want to talk about this particular topic specifically. Before I do that, Jem is he has another engagement, so he needs to leave. Before I let him leave, I want to give him a couple of minutes to give me his final thoughts before he goes. So Jem, thank you for coming on. Thanks for taking
No worries.
part. Give me your final thoughts before you shoot, brother.
Sorry, I got to shoot. It's only been on an hour, but yeah, I'll try and get myself on a lot longer because it's good to listen to the panel and everyone else's opinions for once, rather than me doing a lot of talking, as you've seen on my own channel where I'm sitting there for an hour talking. So it's nice actually listening to people and actually hearing what they've got to say. But listen, look, I'll just give you my overall thought on this window, to be honest, and what I feel. I think with Dembele, I've said it already before. I think it is a low risk factor to it for me. I still think that there's a lot of good things that can come out of this more than the bad side of things. So the fact that he's on the free, and I know Podfather mentioned some good points as well. I think it makes a lot more sense to go for this and get it done. He is a talent, and it's definitely someone that will improve the squad, I think, quite a bit. I do agree with Julius though as well at the same time, where he said about bringing him in doesn't solve everything, and that's spot on. One thing that I always bang on about this window is our whole mindset has to change. It has to move from the Roman era into the Boehly era, but we just don't know what that is yet. And I think we're going to get a sniff of that going into this summer window. But if Marina is going to be here for the short term, and as said, it looks like she might leave after this summer transfer window, which is fine. I'm expecting a lot of say bad ways, but certain ways to be dropped in regards to what Boehly wants and maybe Tuchel wants. And I do feel that as Tuchel as the manager, he will have a lot more involvement. Not too much. I'm not going to say that he's up there and he picks what he wants, but I think he's going to be. I think you're going to notice that there's a lot more involvement with him in regards to this the right profile players that he wants to bring in to make us stronger. What we have to do in this summer window is that we have to be smart. And that's the biggest word for me. We have to be smart because bringing in Dembele doesn't solve our problems. Bringing in Koundé doesn't entirely just solve our problems. For me, I think we need a good 5 to 7 players. Whether or not we're going to get that done, we're going to find out. But in terms of having that smart window, I think it's very important that we look at the possibilities around the transfer market. There are a lot of people that are free. There are a lot of people that are going for good value. You know, I done today on my channel. I kind of ringed out about 5 or 6 players that we could get, and we only would have spent £160 million, and that's without us selling players off as well. We can be smart, and what I'm saying is to improve us, to get us closer to the top. We have to improve the squad overall, rather than just concentrating on just maybe 1 or 2 here and there. We already know we've got to get 2 defenders at least, but 2 defenders, a forward, maybe 2 forwards, easily depending on who goes. We still need to sort out the midfield area, the DM area, who comes in there. Tchouameni's not an option anymore. Declan Rice might not happen now. The wing backs, you look at Reece James. Can't rely on Reece James to play another 50 games a season without having backup. And squad depth is so important. If we don't get the squad depth right, it's still good to bring in Dembele, but you get, like Julie said, we're going to end up falling flat on our faces because you're going to end up asking the guy to play too many games. And then we look at our bench like we did last season and we're like, who we got to come on? That's why I'm saying smart. Be smart in the transfer window. Get rid of the players you want to do. Be aggressive. Get it done quickly. And then whoever you want to bring in on top of that, if you know what Tuchel wants and Boehly wants and Marina, she knows what needs to be done. Rather than dwell on these options, go and get it done. Don't waste time. If you know where you need to be and you need to negotiate, go and do it, because we ain't in in a period where we can just sit there and dwiddle on things. We've got too many areas that need to be addressed, and that's why I'm saying this summer window. I don't think people realize it. This is actually going to possibly be one of Chelsea's biggest windows. And the reason I say that is because there is many options in the market, and I'm talking about good options in the market, which you probably don't get in every market. So we'll see. We'll see what Chelsea do. But thanks for having me again, and big up to
No,
yourself.
Jim,
Can I ask a
it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. What was that? Say again.
Can I ask you a question before you go, Jim?
Go on.
Just
you
one second. Nippin, just one second. Let me just finish this this point on what Jim just said. This window, a lot of players are running down their contracts. Therefore, the amount of players that are available on a free, of a high quality, of a very high quality, I've not seen it for many a year. I mean, one player that we literally could get on a free is Paul Pogba. And that is a quality player that would fit very well with Kante and Dembele if we were to get those guys. They have a very good link. And again, I'm making an assumption because they play for the same nation. But I think you will also find that both Kante, Pogba, and Dembele have a very strong cultural connection. And some of you will understand what I'm talking about. And that will make their chemistry even better moving forwards. Okay, regardless of the fact that they all speak French, etc., etc. So there is a lot in this market. And like Jim said, you've got to play it smart. Jim, before you go, we're going to keep you on for a couple of minutes, answering Nipin's question.
Yeah,
Nipin, take it away, brother.
Now that we've signed the Kunde deal, but since 2 defenders are leaving, and Vardiol has said he's staying at Leipzig, what are your thoughts on us on going for that defender from Torino? I believe his name is Gelson Bremer.
I'm going to be honest with you, I've not seen a lot of him. I've seen a lot of talks around him. I would have to watch more of him. For me personally, I would go for Koulibaly. I know some people feel that might be a very hard thing to do when you look at the team that he plays for, the director of that club himself in Napoli is very hard to negotiate. We've been told 30 million. Some people saying they think it could be more than that, 40 to 50 million. I just think it's all happy and well to bring in all these young prospects, Dembele, Koundé, these real top, players that could potentially become into something under Tuchel, which I think Tuchel, when you look at his man management, is probably best equipped to do that. But it's important to also have the experience. And the Koulibaly at 31 would give us that with Thiago Silva. And just for the short term, you could get a good 2 years out of him. And then you could look at Gouvedal, you could look at Bremer. I just don't see the whole thing of going to spend 60 million on, even though we're going to do that with Koundé, which I think we're going to do anyway, but doing that again on another defender when we could potentially go for experience for like a stopgap and then concentrate. This is what I'm saying about being smart. Get Koulibaly, he's experienced, he knows the game well. He would slot into the 3 at the back. And then you can work around looking at other areas that need to be addressed, because there's a lot that needs to be addressed. So that's just my personal opinion anyway. Let's see what happens.
Jim, thank you very much. We'll see you again hopefully next Sunday.
Yeah, 100%.
Guys, GNA TV, show it some love. Smash the like button. Smash the like button on this stream and give it a subscription to GNA TV. Oh, he's on that side. This guy. Big up to you, Jim. Have a good one, brother. Take care. Have a good night. Yeah. Cheers. Bye-bye. All right, before I say hello to Chris, who literally just jumped in, I want to go back to what Julius said in respect to journalism and reporting on social media. Look, right now, there's a lot of news stories that are coming out from accounts that we really don't know too much about. I'm not going to name names, just like Julius didn't name names, but there are accounts that are currently giving us news which we are relying on even though they don't claim to be journalists, they don't claim to be linked to the clubs, the agents, etc., etc., etc. However, they claim to have access to information, and thus they are releasing this information. Their track record of gathering information is quite good. The information that they have given us is quite reliable. I don't have any issue with the information that is coming from these sources. However, will these sources make mistakes? Yes. Will these sources report something today that tomorrow change? It might be 100% accurate today, but tomorrow someone in that chain has changed their mind, decided to do something else. Does that mean the reporter who reported a story today was misleading us? No, it just means the facts as they had them and as they reported them were correct. Should something happen to the story where things change, where people decide to go down a different path, it happens. There are conflicts currently going on between some of these different sources of information. One reports one story, the other reports a different side to that story. Thus, one would think that the other is trying to contradict them. And this is what Julius was talking about. It's okay for people to have a difference of opinion. It's okay for people to think something may be in the pipeline while others think it's already been done. It's okay. Not everyone is going to have the same access to the information as everyone else. However, it's not okay to come out and troll and to attack and to abuse these journalists, these reporters, these sources, because you don't believe or you disagree with the story. Wait. Let it pan itself out. Let it come to a conclusion. Let that story arrive at a conclusion, and then you can say you made a mistake. You made a mistake, and he will hold his hands up, or she will hold her hands up and say, look, I made a mistake. It's okay. It happens. But don't attack them. Because they got something wrong, it makes them all of a sudden trash, trolls, fake news. No, they made a mistake. It happens. You make mistakes. I make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. So guys, just be a little bit more understanding when it comes to dealing with these individuals on social media, because this is something new. This isn't, a newspaper or a TV station, or this is a Twitter account. This is an Instagram account. This is someone who has their ear to the door and is trying to get you some information. Take it with a pinch of salt.
Live and let people live. Just do your thing.
Exactly.
Why do you have to say fraud?
Exactly.
He's this, he's that. Like, come on, do your thing.
It's not necessary, people. It's not necessary, because end of the day, these individuals are human beings, just like you, just like me, just like everyone else, and they are trying to provide a service to you. When they are tweeting, when they are reporting news, they are doing it for you. Believe me, they're not gaining nothing out of this. Maybe they, a little bit of a rep, a little bit of. They all have jobs elsewhere. They all make their money elsewhere. This for them is a passion. It's a passion. It's a passion. Just like this YouTube channel. This YouTube channel for me is a passion. Talking to you guys is a passion. It's a family that I'm trying to build, a community that I'm trying to build on this platform. And I'm glad that there's 171 of you currently watching it, but have you all hit the like button? You haven't. We've only got 126 likes. So what you guys been doing? Let's smash that like button. I'm going to just welcome Chris and give me his thoughts on Dembele. And then, I'll give you guys a few more minutes if you want to add anything before we move on to Lukaku. Chris, welcome to the show. How you feeling? I hope you're feeling much better today.
Yeah, mate, I'm okay. The knee's still in a bit of pain, but yeah, it's okay. Pleasure to be back in the Blue Lounge, best Chelsea fan channel on YouTube. Got to say my usual saying. It's a pleasure to be back. And yeah, I'm not going to say congratulations to Wales or England because making the World Cup. So that's that. I hope they get smashed in the World Cup, and that's that. In terms of Dembele, look, Barcelona signed this player for £135 million from Borussia Dortmund. Why? Because he was playing out of his skin. He was playing fantastic. Why was he playing fantastic? Because of one man, Thomas Tuchel. And Thomas Tuchel can get the best out of Dembele. And I believe it 100%. Is it a risk? Yes. Is it more so of a risk because of his injury record and the fact that he's kind of not lived up to the hype at Barcelona? Sure. But every player's a risk when you sign him. It's not a guarantee. That's when City fans are jumping up and down about Haaland. It's not a guarantee that he's going to replicate even half the numbers that he did in Dortmund. So, lads, I'm happy that he's not here yet. I mean, I'm not going to go into the whole journalist thing. I believe a player's here when he's holding up the Chelsea shirt. So, I want Dembele because I think that Tuchel can get the form out of him and can get the best numbers from him. I mean, I know, Mo, you asked me in January if I wanted Dembele, but at the time I said no due to his injury record. However, he's improved since then, since Xavi's came in, and that was because we were linked with Hazard. I said no to Hazard due to his injury concerns, and I've also said no to Dembele. But in this moment in time, he's a free, and Tuchel wants him, and I always said I back Tuchel, and this is the difference between me and a lot of people that say they back Tuchel, because I don't moan. If Tuchel wants Dembele, I'm for it. Some people say, why are we not going for a Sani? Why are we not going for a Gnabry? Look, if Tuchel wants Dembele, there's a reason he wants Dembele, because he feels that he can get the form that he'd had at Dortmund. So I'm all for it. Get Dembele in ASAP, and get Koundé in ASAP as well.
All right, fantastic. I agree with you. Just point out there, I agree with you.
Good,
I think
mate,
Dembele will be a fantastic addition to the squad. 10 more minutes. Give me your thoughts on the story before we move on.
Yeah, listen, I will say something quick. Dembele, I think from Barcelona was 122 million, right? The transfer to
135, yeah.
Million to Barcelona, and even that I remember that there were a lot of problems. I think Dortmund wanted to keep him, and he refused to sign. He refused to resume to the training after at the end of this last season or the preseason, and it was last minute when Dortmund was pretty much forced to give Dembele to Barcelona for 100 something. And then even at Barcelona, as the club he wanted to go, his attitude was not right. So as much as we want to back Tuchel or the Dembele work with Tuchel in the past, I just don't think we should all just say this transfer is going to be one of the best one or going to be a match in the heaven between him and Tuchel. Tuchel has not improved any of our younger players since he took over. I mean, let's just this season, you cannot point to any of our young talent that improved under Tuchel.
Chalobah?
Yeah, but he at the beginning, and he's the one that shot Chalobah in the foot again. The last few games, he's the one telling us Chalobah was not ready or was making a few mistakes. That's what. While we need him, we need Chalobah to play game. Tuchel is the one that bench him. So as much as I know Dembele is quality, as much as I know that is a bargain. He's not. If he was not at the end of his contract at Barcelona, we'll be paying more than 100 something to get him. As much as all those things are good to hear, I still don't believe that is a match in heaven between him and Tuchel. I just think if the wages are right, yeah, we try, but I'm not there yet because Tuchel, as a coach, has not improved any youngsters, especially in EPL. You can say he improved Dembele back in Dortmund, but in EPL, no,
Boogie, if it wasn't for his injury record, let's just say the injury record was perfect, and there wasn't any injury. Just watching his game, the way he plays, do you think it would be a good buy then? The way he fits into Chelsea, the age
Yeah, like I
is
said,
at,
he's a
and his
100
playing
million.
profile.
Yeah, but the kid was a 100 million something player. I think 3
No,
years
no,
ago.
but forget the price. Let's just say you watch him as a player, just him as a player compared to what we're missing in the squad. Somebody to go one on one, somebody to dribble pass, cross, somebody who can play on the right, play on the left. If it wasn't for the injury record, let's say the injury record was perfect, would you be way more confident about the signing?
I think it will take some of my headaches away. But the truth is, his attitude is still there. He's really good. I'm not taking anything away from Dembele. He is really good actually with both feet, which is tremendous because most of our players they have the ball on the left, they cannot shoot in the box. They have the ball on the right, they are right footed and they cannot shoot. We noticed those things with Ziyech, Lukaku, and all those players this season. Even Pulisic, many times he can put the ball with the left foot, but he's waiting for the ball to go back to the right before he can shoot. So Dembele in those situations will probably be able to take chances. So we're good. I'm happy to be linked to Dembele, and I'm even happier because Liverpool is trying to get him. And if we get him, I'm happy because I don't know why he would turn in Liverpool team. So
Think about the attitude thing. You have to remember, Boogie. There are a lot of players who have forced their way out of certain situations. Yeah, it's not good for the club that they're leaving, but sometimes they go to that club and you don't see the same issues. Whether it's Courtois at us, he goes to Real Madrid. We don't hear any issues of his attitude once he gets there. There are all sorts of different players that they find themselves in certain situations where they feel they have to force their way out of the club. Rightly or wrongly, that's the thing they've taken. And we don't mind when we want to buy a player and they're trying to force their way to come to us. But we're more than happy to take the player because it strengthens our hand in the negotiations. And I think at that point, them asking for 130 something million for a player who literally just had a season was crazy. And that's one of the reasons why he tried to force the move because he's like, you guys, this is like my dream move. Barcelona come in and you guys trying to price me up 135 million off of what? Off of one season. I'm a 17, 18-year-old player. So he thought his dream is slipping by, and he thought I'm going to do everything I can to get this move through. And I know the funny thing is, Boogie, you of all people, I know you have that same attitude. If a club came in that you wanted to go to and they're willing to double and triple your wage, you'll do everything to leave that club to go to the other one that you want to.
Yeah, no, but what I'm going to say also is he's coming because of Tuchel, right? It's not like I'm coming because I want to be part of something at Chelsea. If Tuchel get fired in the middle of the season, so what do we have from Dembele? A player that is showing his attitude again.
No,
like I don't want to be here.
which is why I like director of football to be the one that signs the players. Yeah, to have a lot of say, almost a 50-50 say with the manager. I don't just go with the whatever the manager wants.
Yeah, we need to be attentive.
You're almost tied in that way.
It's always about Tuchel because this is Chelsea. Things get go south.
But either way, he would be an asset. So you've paid nothing for him. You've hopefully got him on not too crazy wages, and then you can sell him for 20, 30 million. So let's see how it goes.
I just want to say something to ITM. Always. It's not just now. Always. Listen.
Big up ITM.
Big up ITM. Listen, guys.
Don't worry. I'm sure we'll all agree on the next subject.
Yeah. For the first time, Boogeyman, whatever he says, we're all gonna say we agree. I'm thinking, possibly. Guys, before we go to the next subject, we've got 141 likes on the stream. Fantastic. Thank you all so much for doing that. We've been streaming for an hour and 20 minutes, and we've already surpassed 100 likes. That is a really, really heartwarming thing for me to see. So thank you all for doing that. I really, really appreciate that. This show is for you guys. I know how much you guys like the panel debate shows, and I will keep this show going for as long as I can because I know how much it means to the fan base and the community. So thank you all for your support, and thank you all for smashing that like button. And if you're new, subscribe. You will not regret it, I promise you. Now, the next topic, and for those of you who have just joined, we've got 3 more topics to cover before we end the stream. We're going to talk about Romelu Lukaku, potentially his departure, potential replacements, which way, how, what should we do in replacing Romelu Lukaku. And then we're going to talk about the Todd Boehly action plan for the rest of this transfer window and Tuchel'S tactic/system for the upcoming season. Will we see some changes in respect to that? These are the 3 topics that are yet to be discussed on the show. So if you guys haven't done so, go grab a drink, grab a snack. We're going to be here for a little bit longer. Romelu Lukaku is in talks. And again, this is another one of those stories that could be reported correctly, incorrectly, because of the way it's been addressed in the media. Right now, it looks like it's been that Romelu Lukaku wants to leave Chelsea Football Club. Up until a week ago, it was debatable. You know, he had statements to suggest that he may want to try to have a brilliant season next season, do his best for the club, for the badge, etc., etc., etc. This week, it's more like, no, I want to get the hell out of here. I'll even take a pay cut. I just want to get back to Inter Milan. That is the situation as per the various reports that we've heard. Now, I'm not going to ask the question, should we let Romelu Lukaku leave? Because I know the answer to that question. It's a overwhelming yes. However, under what terms would you be happy to see him leave? Are you of the school of thought that yes, a loan deal will be acceptable with a option to buy, or no, it needs to be an obligation to buy, or no, we should sell him flat out, and even if we were gonna make a big loss on him, 50 million will still be sufficient. Let's just close the page on Romelu Lukaku now. I want to know how you guys want to see this saga end, and also I want from each one of you to give me a replacement and why you would go with this particular replacement. And I asked this question in my last video and I got some interesting answers. But I want to hear what the panel has to say in respect to this. And again, like in the last question, I'll open it to you guys. Anybody can start. Go ahead.
Well, yeah. I mean, the easy option is we all agree for the first time in I think Blue Lounge history that this player needs to go. And look, it's drama central for this guy, right? Now, obviously, the ideal solutions is Inter. I'm quite surprised Inter are even in for him, to be honest, after the way that he disrespected the club when he left for us. And the fans, the way the Inter fans are not really a big fan of him. But hey ho. So the most likely option is we're not going to sell him. I want him to be loaned, and I want it to be an option to buy. Now, I'm saying we're going to loan him out for 2 years, and then we're kind of expecting Inter to make a bid for him. I don't see that happening. I want an option to buy. I want a certified option to buy. We loan Lukaku out, and if he does well at Inter, which I wouldn't be surprised if he does, I want an option to buy. What's the option to buy? Let's just say the option to buy 65 million plus 5 million add-ons. Let's just say that. We're not going to get over 75 million for Lukaku.
Chris, are you talking about obligation to buy?
Obligation to buy, yeah.
Correct.
So I want that. We're not going to sell him flat out. Because nobody's going to pay his wages. So the loan option is we pay half the wages, Inter pay another half, or we pay 80% of the wages. That's the likely option is going to happen. And as for the replacement, Mo, there's one name. Harry Kane's not going to happen. That's one I would like, but it's not going to happen. So I'm looking at one that's realistic. Lewandowski, right? People are saying, oh, he's certified. He's certain he's going to go to Barcelona. Is it? Barcelona's in financial strains. That's why Dembele's leaving. He couldn't get the contract. Barcelona are a mess. Yeah, they're a mess. Apparently, they have to pay PK's wages, 50 million to PK in terms of wages. Barcelona's a mess.
Apparently, he's taking them to court because they can't afford to pay his wages.
Exactly. So they're a mess. And if they somehow manage to register Lewandowski, that'll be another issue down the road. He would be my ideal solution because he can actually score the goals. Lukaku can score. However, Lukaku doesn't make the runs, doesn't make the effort. He expects everything to be put on a plate for him, and then that's it. Lukaku's a good player. He's a goal scorer. However, he's a diva, and his attitude outweighs his performances for Chelsea, and he needs to go ASAP. So Mo, obligation to buy, loan him out to Inter with an obligation to buy, an option to buy, yeah, and then Lewandowski to replace him. That's what I would like to see, because people are saying, Broja, I'm sorry, we cannot rely on a 19-year-old. Is he 19, Mo? 20? 19, 20. We can't rely on a raw talent like that. Yes, I know he's been at Southampton. He started off well. We can't rely on that for the rest of the season, and we cannot rely on Havertz being a false nine. Get Lewandowski in. Get Lukaku out the door.
All right, sweet. Podfather, you wanted to jump in?
Yeah, my outlook on this is quite similar to Chris. I think I had said before that 100% Chelsea would be looking to get a loan fee, and a quite hefty one at that, because of his price. There's no way they were just going to let him go for free. The good thing is, though, from what I've heard, it's not that we're going to be paying half his wages. He's willing to take a pay cut to go on loan. So he's already negotiated that with Inter, where he'd be almost half. I think it'd be on 175 if he was to, those are the figures that were banning out if he was to go to. That's how desperate he is to go to Inter. So I think that if that is true, that is actually brilliant for us, because then it completely saves us on the on the wages aspect. I don't think they'll do an obligation to buy, because nobody just knows what form he's in, like, after the season they've had. I think if he went there and he's a success, and there's every chance he will be, then I think 100% they'll sign him. If he goes back there and he plays a pivotal part in them winning the league and all of that, then I don't think, and we're realistic about the fee. They'll definitely try and lowball us. Whether it's 30 million or 40 million, they'll end up paying for him. We're just gonna have to, bite the bullet on that one, and let him go, basically. Also, I see some people getting emotional on Twitter, like, look at him, he's a snake. He's talking to these people. He's doing this. He's doing whatever. As far as I've heard, the club don't seem upset about the situation. So that tends to mean to me that maybe he's already communicated with them behind the scenes that he would like to leave, and he'd be looking for an out in this situation. And if he's able to go and do the legwork, and all we have to do is come and agree with the fee with Inter, then good, he can be gone. I don't see the downside. I don't take it personal that that he's talking to these guys. It baffles me where on one side the club fans are like, we want him to leave, but then they see him talking to Inter, like, he's a snake. Make up your mind. You know what I mean? You want him to go, then let him do everything he can to go, and hopefully he goes. And we're able to move on from this sorry saga. In terms of replacements, I don't want to make the same mistake as last time. I don't want to do a big investment if we can't get our first choice targets, whoever that is, whether it's Darwin Núñez, whether it's Lewandowski, whether it's whatever. If we can't get them, I'd rather just go and strengthen the forwards, the left forward, the right forwards, and get goal scorers in those positions, and play Havertz up front. He's 23, 24 years old. We paid 70 million for him. Let's see what he does, where he's the main man, and it's a season. Can we
do what Man City did last season, and win the title without a striker, an out striker?
Yeah, I think we have to be realistic. Like, winning the title is dreamland. Like, that's best case scenario. I think what we have to do now is, Tuchel even came out and said that this summer would only, what he expected from the summer window was to keep us at the level that we're at. He didn't even come out and said he was going to improve us. He said that hopefully this signings can maintain it, just because of the players that we're losing and stuff. Now, I think that's just him lowering expectations. So, people don't go into next season with the same, pressure that we had on this. We're going to win the league. We have the best thing. We go to Lukaku. Da, 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 da. So I think that's more to lower the expectation of the fans, which is understandable, because you're signing 7 new players or 5 new players, and you just don't know how it's going to go. They might not necessarily be flops, but it might take a year or two for them to bed in. But I think that it's more about spreading the goals around. So we're not relying on one player. You have 2-3 players who can all give you 15, 16, 17 goals. You don't have to rely on your striker or one particular player. Like even Liverpool, even Mo Salah scoring 40 goals, they don't rely on him completely. Like when the big games are happening towards the end of the season, Mane gets all the goals, or Diaz comes in, or Jota comes in. So it's spread around, and I think that's the way football is going now. It's not about just one person scoring all the goals like that. Those teams don't tend to dominate where it's just one person doing everything. So yeah. So for me, I'm happy to let him go. Happy to see him negotiate, and as long as we're not too greedy, I think this deal can be done. I'm quite optimistic that this move will happen. As long as we're not haggling over $1 million here, $2 million here, which is easier said than done because I'm not in charge of the finances of the club. But I think we have to learn from our mistakes, and if we can get him out, then I think it would be a great move for the club.
All right. Who wants to jump in? I think Knippin was about to say something.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on this?
On Lukaku?
Yeah.
Look, if he wants to leave, by all means, let him leave. That's all I'm going to say.
Replacement?
Oh, realistic or dream?
Realistic.
Or Darwin Núñez.
All right. Dream.
Robert Lewandowski.
All right. Sweet. I'm now gonna go to MDT. MDT, brother, you don't have to wait for me to ask you to jump in, man.
No, I know. I'm just so to be honest, for me, if a person is not happy or comfortable in an environment, I think it's better for both parties for him to go. But but one thing as well, people are making not calculating. Even Inter, they have to sell this summer. Okay, AC Milan this year might have more money because they haven't somebody taking them over. Soon they're negotiating that. I think 1.2 billion, something like that. AC Milan might be like the one with the money in Italy, and even Juventus. People think Juventus is always rich. If they want to spend money, they will spend money, but they have a lot of it. But Inter will have to sell. I believe if they sell, Chelsea can negotiate a deal where they might not even lose money, like that Morata deal where they pay 20 million loan fee and with an obligation to buy a Ranger. Like remember, even Cuadrado, we didn't lose any money with the deal. It's a loan agreement for 3 years. The money was paid. Chelsea can do that. Inter will not mind that. But what Inter will not do is to take that money up front and give it to Chelsea. But they will not mind splitting the money. Like say they have an agreement with Chelsea over 3 years, over 4 years. 20 million here, 15 million there. But it's what Chelsea want. If Chelsea want to be greedy, want to take their time, dragging it, whatever, it will take forever. But no teams like Inter, Juventus, they're smart the way to do business. So Juventus did that with Chiesa. They did it with quite a few players, even Bernardeschi. I think they did it with Morata as well before, and they did it again this year with Morata from Atletico. They pay a loan fee, and then they, with an agreement to play things like that. I believe Chelsea can have their money back. That's not whatever. It's up to the club what they want to negotiate. With replacement,
MDT,
I think...
MDT, before you go on the replacement, there's a comment here from DTKJ. He says, thoughts on reports of a straight swap of Lautaro Martinez for Lukaku. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, this is the thing. Chelsea fans, we have a short memory. I used to remember when we used to love Mourinho. Okay, for me, we love Tuchel so much, we think he's a saint. He doesn't make any mistake. I don't believe in that. What I believe, he has made this season that passed, 40% of the problem was him. The other 60% is the players. But 40% was him. I'm not talking about the transfer. I'm talking about the after January. the results were not the players anymore. That was him. He was selecting things. He was putting players, certain match. He plays certain players. He does. People make mistakes. He was trying things. I don't fault him. That's his job. It's for him to try things. When he works, he works. When he doesn't work, it doesn't work. Okay, it's next year, then we'll judge him. Mourinho did the same thing. They don't mean that managers make mistakes. Even Ancelotti make mistakes his second season at Chelsea. So for Chelsea fans, they don't see that. They just think that you love somebody, you don't see their fault. Even your wife is not perfect. Nothing wrong with somebody not being perfect. You don't expect somebody to be perfect. Okay, Lautaro Martinez will not play well under this system. The way Tuchel played this system, the three at the back, strikers, forget it. You need forward that can score goals. Okay, like the Kunku, like the Mane, like the Raheem Sterling, like the Dembele, forward that can score goals and create for themselves with high energy, dribbling skills, and the powerful. A striker will struggle. There's certain typical strikers that will play better with this system. Maybe somebody like Diego Costa, who don't care about what a manager told you. He will play football because he loves football. Okay, but if you want these typical strikers, now you want them to do what Tuchel want them to do with this system, they're going to struggle. It's not Darwin, Nunes, all of them will struggle. It's the way we play. It's the way we play. You need specific players to play this role. You just can't take a goal scorer like who is the finish and put them in here. Because guess what? Our forward players, they don't create. They don't create. Most of our creation comes from our wing backs. So do you want the forward to stand there waiting for the wing back to come forward and and cross for them all the time? And no, that's the problem we have. Our forward, our two players behind the strikers, they don't create as much. And when they have chance to slip in the strikers, they will make the wrong decision 8 out of 10 times. So that's our problem. It's the system which you need specific players that can do a job better than these ones we have. That doesn't mean that the players we have are bad players. It means that they're not meant for this system. That's all. Doesn't mean that they're poor players, they're useless players, like fans that say, some fans are saying, no. It just means that they're not suited to it. And players, it happens sometimes. Players are just not suited to certain systems. You know, for me, the replacement should be a forward that can goal scoring forward. Like I keep saying it, I love Nkunku. I love people like powerful players. Even Raheem Sterling from Man City, I will take him in this our system. Because when England play three at the back, he's the best player. He's their best player. Even the Euro, he was. Okay, because he can take the ball and run at defenders. And what does that does? It collapses the defense. By collapsing the defense, there's opportunity for somebody. We don't have that. We don't have it. And also, people keep talking about Kunde. To be honest with you, I will take, what's the name? The young guy at Leverkusen, Tapsova, over Kunde any day. He's stronger, faster, quicker, a better ball player, and he'll be cheaper. There are a lot of defenders.
You don't rate Kunde?
No, I don't rate him like people say. Believe me, I don't.
Okay.
I've watched him since he was at Bordeaux. He's good, but not at this rate. People are hyping him. And I'm worried that if he comes to Chelsea, I'm worried for him. If he doesn't perform to this expectation, this high expectation, they're going to kill him for the price tag. They're going to kill him. He's a good player, but it's not there yet. What people are expecting from him is not there. There are players that are, people are not hyping. Look at Liverpool bring this Konate. You see Konate? Upamecano was hyped more than Konate. But Liverpool went for Konate. I'm telling you, there's this young Burkina Faso player, Tapsova, at Bayern Leverkusen. If you cannot get Koulibaly, go for that kid. That kid is good. He's a leader. He's a leader in both club and country. Okay, so the players that Chelsea can get, it will not cost us a lot of money. We can rebuild. Because right now we need 4 or 5 defenders. That doesn't even include wing backs yet. And you need a holding midfielder. You need, this rebuild, we have to do it smartly. But if we spend 50 to 70 million on Kunde, how much are we going to be spending? So these are the things. For me, I think that we should just plan smartly. And also, Managers make mistakes. We should accept that it can happen. It doesn't mean that they're bad managers. Players can struggle on a system. Doesn't mean that they're bad players. It just means that they just can't play with this system. Players went to Barcelona. They struggled. They left Barcelona. They did well. Players left Barcelona. They were doing well at Barcelona. They left Barcelona. They came to other teams. They struggled. Real Madrid as well. Players have played for Real Madrid. They do well. They left Real Madrid. They struggled. Players have played for Chelsea. They played badly. They left Chelsea. They played well. Players have played well for Chelsea. They went to other teams. They played badly. It's just system. That's the thing. Sometimes it's just the system. There are players that can play in any system. There are players they just can't. So
right.
for me, that's my take on this.
All right. I want to think, Julius and Boogeyman. We haven't heard from you guys on Lukaku. So whichever one wants to go first, go right ahead.
It is clear that Lukaku has to go. But what I don't understand from our fan base is why they criticize him because he's talking with Inter Milan. We've been on Lukaku back since I think since mid November or mid December that we all just be like, okay, that's enough. He's not good enough, and all. He's only here for the money or all those things. So, and I'm one of them, and I still believe in it that he's not good enough for Chelsea. But now that he's talking to Inter Milan, like Podfather say, he just no, I cannot understand. We need to get our logic right because we want him to go, and he has to find a way to get to the door because Chelsea as an entire organization right now is going through a lot of changes. So maybe he just decided to start it and help Chelsea to help him move back to Inter Milan. So listen, he has my blessing, and hopefully Inter took him back. But again, one thing I always will make my point is Lukaku came to this club as an option, and Tuchel gave the club the blessing to have Lukaku in this club. Of course, Tuchel didn't manage to use Lukaku properly in his system, which was the whole thing. We all say he can now just play in Tuchel's system, and he's not mobile enough, agile enough. He doesn't run enough. He doesn't press enough, and Lukaku being Lukaku, he react to those things and take it personally, and also start his attitude. So, for me, Tuchel has to share some responsibility because I keep saying no one in Chelsea community is going to convince me that Tuchel did not give his blessing for Lukaku coming to this club. I'm 100% sure that a coach that won the Champions League, that was high, really hot back then, will just be imposed a 100 million pound striker. Lukaku came to solve a problem under Tuchel. Tuchel did not manage to get the best out of him. He has to go. And sorry, but that's the way it is. And when it comes to a replacement, I don't even want to think.
Before you talk about the replacement argument, how do you think we should get rid? Loan, sell, obligation to buy? I mean, would you be happy for us to give him to Inter Milan for, say, I don't know, a fee of 10 million euros, with them taking on 80% of his wages, with an option to buy at the end of the season for, say, 60 million?
I think your question has been answered because he's taking a pay cut already, anyways. But for me, the way I see the whole thing is
him taking the pay cut isn't really the issue for me. The issue for me is this: are we gonna make it too easy for him to leave? Because see, it's not just making it too easy for him to leave. I don't want to see Lukaku being given to Inter Milan. I want to see Inter Milan having to pay for Lukaku.
I saw.
I want to see, and I want to see an obligation to buy because they're asking for an option to buy, so they can actually have him for a whole season, paying not all of his wages. We're still going to be paying a part of his wages, and at the end of the day, they may buy him, they may not buy him, depending on how they feel like at the end of the season. That is not what I want to see happen. I want to see either a straight sale, and I don't mind selling him for a cut down price. If we get rid of him and that is it, close the page. Either that or an obligation to buy, so they can have him for a season where we will pay a portion of the wage. I don't have an issue with that, as long as at the end they have to buy him and we get rid of him.
You want to hear the third one? The craziest one. My position is this: Tuchel want to rebuild. Tuchel does not fancy Lukaku. Lukaku has to make a way. Those two cannot be in this club. Whatever you think about it, it's not even about making it easy for Lukaku to leave or not. If Lukaku does not leave, then Lukaku has to play with the reserve team for the entire season. Is Chelsea willing to do that? Because Tuchel does not fancy the striker. Tuchel has a system. He has to work on it. His system become the priority at this point. We have players that have to fit in Tuchel's system. We saw it this season. Tuchel cannot change the way he's playing. Even if he tried, once in a while, but we see it's not working. Tuchel has to play 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1, whatever you want to say. Those are the best way of Tuchel. Even when we play 4 at the back, Ziyech has to be a first wing back once in a while. So Tuchel's system and Lukaku don't fit together. So Lukaku has to make way. Lukaku just has to leave the team or be in a reserve. So for me, if enter one Lukaku on loan with option or without option, we just want this loan 1 year. That means Tuchel has that year to work on that team. At the end of that season, we deal with Lukaku again. Lukaku, okay, you play for Inter, you're coming back to Chelsea. We need to find your place, or you're sitting in a reserve because that means
Boogie. Look. I don't want to see him back at Chelsea. That's the thing. Once he goes, I don't want to. I'm done. I've had enough of him. I'm done.
Yeah, but the reason why I just don't understand why people keep saying we don't want them back at. No, I think the focus should be on Tuchel. Tuchel system. We give 1 full year to Tuchel's system. Tuchel, we don't have to care about Lukaku anymore. But if Tuchel's system does not work this season, man, guess what? Maybe Tuchel get fired. Maybe Conte is our next manager. Lukaku is coming back. Guess what? Lukaku and Conte work well. For me, Lukaku has to make a way. Tuchel has 1 year to fix it. Tuchel, if you don't fix it, you deal with Lukaku next season. Or if you manage to show us this season that your system is working, then next season, Lukaku, you're sitting on the reserve or you're moving away. That's simple as that. That's how I process my information.
Boogie, you know Conte sued Chelsea, right? And he won. He ain't coming back to manage United, man.
It was just an example, I guess. No, but you understand what I'm trying to say.
No, I get you. Crazy things have happened in football. I know.
Yeah, good, man.
All right, let me bring in Julius.
If you allow me more,
take it away. Go.
Actually, if you allow it,
you have no word.
I want to keep it spicy, so it's a debate show. So,
spice it up, mate. Spice it up.
And actually, no, I want to, because I know Chris is losing his mind behind the scene. I've been laughing.
I've seen the private chat. I know what's going on. Yeah.
So I would like Chris, since it's still hot and Boogeyman just finished his statement, actually just keep it going. Chris, go have your go at Boogeyman, please, if Mo allows it.
I'll allow it. Let's do it.
Okay, so look, I'm just hearing we need to focus on Tuchel's blessing, right? Okay, So we
Wait.
as
Well,
boogeyman-
hold on. I don't know if we should go down this path.
No, we
I need
should.
to
We
think
should
about it.
because it's ridiculous.
No,
Paul.
because the thing is this. I actually want to talk about Tuchel's system.
No. I just want to touch
in
on what
another
Boogeyman just
segment.
said. It's just the
Go on.
Lukaku, just that Lukaku, right? Because
Go on.
Boogeyman seems to think that, and we've said this to him in previous streams, right? He seems to think that Lukaku was what Tuchel wanted. It's been well documented. He wanted Haaland, and if he didn't get Haaland, the backup would have been Kane. If we didn't get Kane, we would have went for Lewandowski. And if we didn't go for Lewandowski, we would have got Lukaku. Lukaku was the fourth option. And guess what? Like many other managers in the past, when we've had success, what we do is, well, forget what you want. We'll go for what we want because it's a statement signing. So we go for Lukaku. When you're saying, Boogeyman, it was Tuchel's blessing, it's not as if he said, you know what, Marina? You know what, Bruce Buck? You know what, Roman? Like, I want Lukaku. He didn't want Lukaku, but at the end of the day, he got what he was given. He was given Lukaku and Saul Niguez.
Chris.
So,
how about I ask it to you in this way?
okay.
How about I ask it to you in this way? So, and I'm going to use the example of Marina Galaskaya.
Okay.
Marina Galaskaya came to Tuchel. She says, "You know what, mate?
Yeah.
Haaland ain't gonna happen.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to get you Harry Kane."
Yeah.
He's like, "All right, sure, let's do it." A few days later, you know what? Harry Kane ain't happening neither, mate. You know,
Oh, okay, Marina. Can I get Lewandowski, please?
No. And then he's like, "All right, yeah. So, what options do we have?" She's like, "We'll try Lewandowski," and he's like, "Yeah, sure, all right, that sounds good." So she came back. She's like, "You know what? Bayern Munich can't budge him, mate.
Yeah.
How about Lukaku? Would you reckon?" He's like, "Yeah, all right. Why not? That's no problem."
Yeah.
He went back, and she's like, "Here you go, have him." And he's like,
Yeah.
"Wow, that's what happened, mate. It wasn't like, give me Lukaku." She's like, "Do you
No,
want
but
Lukaku?"
the thing is, it's like people are acting as if he wanted Lukaku. Don't get me wrong, I wanted Lukaku because look, that fella's a goal machine, and what we needed was goals. But at the end of the day, Lukaku was not Tuchel's target. It was Marina's target. It was whoever Roman. If he got involved from Marina.
But Tuchel did say, "Oh, I know women's."
Well, what's he supposed to do? No. Well, who? Okay, so we keep Giroud.
Can I come in, please?
No. So what's your Boogeyman? If he says no, right?
Chris, your comment was addressed to Boogeyman.
No, but I just want to finish what I was actually. My initial point was.
Go on.
My initial point was so he's just supposed to say, okay, you got Lukaku, he's a goal scorer. Okay, you know what? No, of course he's not going to do that. Come on.
Why not?
Go on, Boogie. Respond.
Okay, listen. Let me just Blue Launch. You send me a text message. I need one panelist. Do you want to be the one? I say no. You send a message to Julius. I need one panelist. Do you want to be the one? Julius say, no. You send to Nippon. Hey, listen, I need one panelist today. Do you want to be the one? He said no. Then you want to MDT. Do you want to be a panelist? MDT say, listen, yeah, I wasn't really into you right now, but I'll come. Guess what? MDT come onto your panel with your blessing. You allow him to come and sit there. As simple as that. So, sorry, Chris. I think your way of processing the information is the problem. It's not when I say
no. I do process the information well.
Listen, Lukaku came to Chelsea with Tuchel blessing.
Yes,
I didn't say
yes.
Lukaku was Tuchel's first target. We all know what we think about Lukaku even before he was signed. There's a people on this channel that say we'd rather have Abraham staying instead of Lukaku before even he was signed. We all know, but that's what I'm trying to say. Tuchel, if Tuchel was like a coach that just came in without winning anything, and then the same situation was put to him, I'll be like, yeah, he just won the job. He cannot say no right now. The guy has a credit in his pocket. He just won the Champions League. And we all said the only thing we need is one striker. So Tuchel, the only thing we need, it was even that Norwegian journalist said At the Champions League final, they were talk with two club owners.
Boogie. Listen, Dexter has smashed it. He's responded to you. Dexter has responded to you, and I want to read Dexter's response. Let's see this. He says, but the analogy, your analogy goes two ways. If MDT, because you said MDT was my fourth option, right?
Yeah.
If MDT said yes, then he came on, agreed to speak, but if he doesn't speak, is that my fault?
Yeah, but listen.
Ah,
But listen, he's taking.
Dexter smashed it. Go on, Dexter.
well done,
Nice one.
Dexter, mate. Well done.
but that's not what we're talking about is here.
But you guys are thinking Dexter got boogeyman here. He doesn't. Guess what?
No.
If MDT come and refuse to speak, it's up to Mo to ask him questions. So that's up to Tuchel to ask to.
No, but if you're not pulling your weight, that's not
how it works. No, but
So
it's not on Mo for me not speaking, but it's on Mo to ask me the question.
Okay. And if you don't answer the question, what then?
If I don't answer the question, then you will say, okay, no, it's on me, MDT. Okay, that's the thing. So it can go three ways, not only one way. So it's on Tuchel as well to put him in a position to succeed. If he doesn't succeed,
which he has.
Lukaku.
He's played them. He's given him opportunities. He's not pulled his weight. 7 touches against Palace. That's not on Tuchel. That's on Lukaku.
No, Chris, we all know how Lukaku plays, isn't it? Tuchel know that. So a 29-year-old, you're not going to change the way they play. He's not a 16-year-old kid. So if you sign in player, you know how they're going to play. Like Lewandowski, you guys think when he comes to Chelsea, he's going to run around? No, it's not. Chelsea have to play to his style. That's the thing. So
no, but at the end of the day, the whole thing is, my whole issue was what Boogeyman said, the blessing. Of course, Tuchel said yes, because at the time, anybody would have said yes. Let me finish. Due to his main targets being not offered, being not agreed to a deal. And you need to take into consideration as well, Tuchel didn't want Giroud and Tammy Abraham to stay around. So then the likely option is you get Lukaku in.
All right, my issue is with the word blessings, and what does that mean? You see, the thing is this. In 20, 30, 40 years' time, Chris, I hope that you have a family and you have a daughter.
Yeah.
And some guy is gonna come and he's gonna ask for your daughter's hand in marriage, and you're gonna give the blessings. And then just indulge me. And then a few years later, they have a falling out and they get divorced. Is that on you? It's not on you. It's on them because in the end of the day, the blessings is a decision to agree or disagree, to accept or object to a thing. Now, I think any manager in world football last year, given an option to sign a striker of Romelu Lukaku's reputation and talent, he would say yes, especially when he is struggling to find an attacker. However, the lack of results, the lack of goals, the interview, the injuries, all of this, yes, it can be remedied to a certain degree by the manager and also the club, because the club could have handled the whole interview situation in a different way. His agent, the fact that he bypassed his agent, who he has sacked subsequently, whatever. Right now, Romelu Lukaku's made a lot of mess. He's made a lot of mess, and he is accountable for most of it. Tuchel saying yes is not a big issue for me, because Tuchel was presented with one of the best strikers in the world last season, the season before last.
They have a conversation. In case you forgot, they told us about it before he was signed.
It doesn't matter what, because we can assume, we can debate, we can discuss, we can present certain bits of evidence, end of the day, any one of us would have agreed Romelu Lukaku signing, because firstly, he isn't paying out of his own pocket. If the club is going to buy him £100 million striker who has just won the Italian league, who has just scored a ton of goals, who's been doing it for a good couple of seasons, why not? Also,
Exactly.
he has history with the club and all. So giving the blessings for me is not an issue. It doesn't mean that it's on Tuchel. I think it's on all parties involved. Tuchel takes part to blame, but he takes part to blame not on accepting Lukaku, but maybe he takes a part to blame in respect to how he handled Lukaku and how he should have treated him. That might be where I'll put the blame in regards to Tuchel. In my opinion, Tuchel could have handled it differently. He could have put his foot down and left Lukaku out for 10 games in a row. And you know what? It would not have had any impact to the season. In fact, it might have even been better for us to keep him out for the next 10 games instead of just dropping him for one game. Okay, maybe he should have done that. Maybe the club should have given Tuchel the power to do that, because maybe the club put pressure on them, man. It's like, oh, we just paid $97.5 million for him. You're gonna bench him. You can't be doing that. Again, all of these are hindsight. We can think about them and we can we can discuss them, because it might have been a massive issue to keep him out for 10 games with the fan base, being as, what's the word here, divided, because we were divided. There was a whole bunch of us thinking the interview was not such a big deal, and a whole bunch of us were, having, hissy fits, and there was a whole bunch that were, here and there and everywhere, and it's happened. It's done. Romelu Lukaku is still a very good player. Is still a very talented player. And I'm saying this in this context. Maybe he is struggling to play under Tuchel. Maybe he is struggling to play in the Premier League. However, the value that man has in Serie A, in the Bundesliga, in the Spanish league, in the French league, he has a lot of value. And we shouldn't sell him cheap because he doesn't score and he doesn't play well for us. Because whoever we're going to sell him to is going to benefit from him, because he's still a talented player. When he is playing for teams, when he's playing against defenders that are not of the same caliber as we see in the Premier League, when he's playing against a system that is not as rigid as we do, for him it might be a good, a good way forward. And for us, Chelsea, we seem to play better without Lukaku. Do you remember that term, the fluid attack? We stopped seeing that when we got Lukaku in. We stopped creating chances and having fluidity in attack. It became all more rigid. And it might have been just the fact that Lukaku was in our attack. This is a very good segue into the second topic. Actually, I'm gonna merge the next two topics.
I haven't finished
together.
You asked me to give you.
I
was going to give you a replacement striker. You told me.
I'm gonna explain the topics that we're gonna go with, and I'm gonna hand it over to you to conclude your last statement, and also to introduce us into the new segment. We said we're gonna talk about.
No, go ahead, sorry.
Who's Sadiq? I think you're seeing things, Nathan. Nathan says, "Big up Sadiq and the panel." Yeah, this
Who's
is the
that?
Blue Lounge. Sadiq. And I think he thinks he's watching Worldwide Chills. No, this is the Blue Lounge, Sadiq. Sorry, Sadiq. He's got me doing it as well. This is the Blue Lounge, Nathan. So, yes, we have a nipping on our show as well today. So maybe that's where the confusion has come from. But this is the Blue Lounge.
Soon as well.
Nippin, you going now? You going
No,
now?
not now. Like in 10 minutes.
All right, sweet. Thank you, Nippin. So, Boogeyman, Thomas Tuchel.
You
Yeah,
already.
let me. No, I didn't. I didn't. I'm doing it now.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel is likely to adapt the system or change the system next season. A player like Dembele, a player like Ziyech, a player like Kunde could be more suited to a back four than a back three. It looks like Ziyech is staying. It looks like Pulisic, Werner are the ones that are being talked about to be making way for Dembele, as we discussed. So, what do you think Tuchel will be changing? Do you think he will be changing in his system for next season? And also, do you think Todd Boehly is going to back Tuchel or back Chelsea in this transfer window in a way where it will enable Tuchel to make the changes that he wants to make and to upgrade slash build a new squad rather than having the leftovers from Lampard, Sarri, Conte, Mourinho, etc., etc., etc. Take it away, Boogie.
Yeah, thanks. What I was going to say about Tuchel and the system, I think Tuchel will be crazy to move to a back four because we've known how the back three work for him, and the back three is a system that allow him to control the ball and press and hit sometime on a counter and the defense, because in the Premier League, if when you want to win that league with a team we have a team with young players, you want to make sure we don't get scored on. So you need a back three. Of course, it taking away some offensive ability, but I think he will be crazy with Rudiger leaving, with all the uncertainty around our defense to go back four. And even Kante is not the same Kante we know. Jorginho is not the same Jorginho. Maybe we may have them back next season. Kovacic is also start getting some injury. He's the youngest one in our experienced midfielder. And Loftus-Cheek has not make any case for himself anyway this season. So at the end of the day, I look at this team and I think Tuchel will be making a big mistake going back four. He has to stay with his back three. So what does that mean for Ziyech and Pulisic and all those? I just think when you are a good footballer, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter what system you've been put in it. You should be able to show your quality. It has to be just a standard. Ziyech, back three, back four or no, when you have the ball, hug the line, cross it, hug the line, hit the far post. It should not be. So someone is telling me if we were to play back, if we were to play back three and we have Mo Salah in our team, then he will stop scoring. I don't think so. If we put him in that same situation, he will score goals. That's what we need. We need players that know where the goal is. We need players that know the position of the goalkeeper and make sure you score. You put the ball far away from the goalkeeper and in the goal. So at the end of the day, when it comes to Boehly, I don't trust the guy. He's our new owner, but I'm used to Roman. Uh, we're talking about spending 60, 70, 80
Boogie,
million.
wait. You said I don't trust the guy. Clarify.
No, I don't trust Boehly. I don't trust him because he hasn't earned my trust yet. I don't know him. I know he owned the club now that I love, yeah. But it doesn't make me believe he's going to spend this season. And my issue is all those links that we're having right now. Chouameni, uh, and I heard that Todd Bowley is a Chelsea seat holder. He's something like that. Oh, he knows the club. He knows that this club. He knows that we need a midfielder or younger midfielder to learn from Kante, Kovacic, and Jorginho. But now Chouameni is in Real Madrid. We're not going to get Declan Rice. So when you're seeing all those how things are moving, you can predict what's going to happen by the end of this season. It's going to be some sort of we decided to trust our academy players. That's the line that Tuchel is going to be defending at the start of the season. We decided to give a chance to Lewis Coyle instead of bringing Kunde in. We decided to give another chance to Pulisic instead of bringing Dembele. Dembele is coming off free, so probably he will be in it. We decided to. Those are the things we were going to be listening to. So, for me, up to the point where that guy starts signing players, we're getting the money, we're seeing the money, the transfer fees, the players are in. I don't trust him. I don't know. I don't think that if someone should be asking me if I think he will back Tuchel. For me, the answer is I don't think so. And because I don't know him that much. That's all I can say for that.
All right. Who else wants to jump in?
I'll jump in because I have to go very soon.
Yeah, I'll jump in afterwards as well because I'm on Sadiq's stream as well. Subscribe to his channel, by the way. Yeah.
Nice little shout out.
Lounge, if I'm not allowed to, I'm sorry. I don't know if promotion of other channels is allowed here, so I apologize.
Sadiq is a brother and a friend and a fellow YouTuber who we'd love to shout out to. So definitely show some love to Worldwide Chelsea and give him a subscription.
Perfect.
Go on, Julius.
I will answer your question about Lukaku and who to replace and all that. Absolutely, I agree with you. Lukaku has to go. I don't want to see him in Chelsea next season. He's not loyal. He's not determined, and he's a waste of time and money. My realistic, and you know what? I don't want to maybe talk too much about Lukaku because we've discussed him throughout the season, and it's very clear that he doesn't fit the Tuchel system. To go back to what Boogeyman said regarding or putting a little bit of more responsibility on Tuchel with Lukaku's failure, or why did we buy Lukaku, is I don't agree, Boogeyman, because at the end of the day, Tuchel was in a situation he had no choice. He was approached by the board, and they were saying we're getting Lukaku, and it's end of it. That's it. And we know very well Chelsea how we do things sometimes. It was a decision by the club. They thought it's worth it. They took a gamble on it, and they brought in Lukaku. Tuchel in this situation, he has to think about it from a logical perspective. I can either ruin my relationship with the club, like how Mourinho and Conte, just how they went through that path, let's say, especially Conte. Or I'm getting a striker who scores goals. I know he's not what I'm looking for, but you never know. Maybe he's versatile, maybe he has the attitude, and maybe I can get the best of him. And of course, he's going to embrace it. That's the only path forward for Tuchel at this point. The other thing, to go back to your point more about how Tuchel could have handled it, I think if Tuchel benched him for a long period of time, with how the division and how the fans and on social media and all the problems, it could have also turned the situation into like people would have said potentially Lukaku was ruined by Tuchel. Tuchel didn't treat him fairly. There is always like people can always come up with reasons to change or to twist things. It's a very tough situation because I'm personally I'm not saying Tuchel doesn't make mistakes. He does make mistakes. And for me, his biggest mistakes was not Lukaku. It was sometimes his selection, sometimes his substitution, sometimes his formation. But to be honest to Tuchel, to be fair to Tuchel, I think he handled everything absolutely well. From the Lukaku situation to the injuries we had to face in the middle of the season to the sanctions on the club. He handled it like a pro, in my opinion. And by the way, the game that Lukaku was dropped was a Liverpool game, which was a huge, huge game in that context at the time. So it was a big gamble. We went 2-0 down, we came back. And like I think in terms of Tuchel and Lukaku situation, I don't have any blame on Tuchel whatsoever. For replacement, the ultimate replacement is Harry Kane. Is this possible? I don't think so. But I would give it a shot. I'm someone who don't like to draw conclusions without trying, because money talks at the end of the day.
But Daniel Levy doesn't care. Daniel Levy is known to not sell to Chelsea or Arsenal or any other Premier League club.
So yes, but Daniel Levy also in a position where he's under a lot of pressure from the fans, and he wants to keep Conte happy. And if, let's say, Chelsea,
do you think the fans will be happy with Daniel Levy if he allows one of their best players to go to a London rival?
If this best player wants to leave the club anyways,
I will turn the fans on Daniel Levy in an instant. Not that the fans already hate him anyway. That will cause them to riot outside White Hart Lane. That's how bad things will get for him. Do you realise that?
Yes, but when you put Lukaku on the table, Lukaku for Conte is big. Lukaku for Conte, just like Harry Kane is for Tottenham. And in my opinion, the only manager at the moment I could think of that can get the best of Lukaku and actually unlock his talent is Antonio Conte. So at the end of the day, Tottenham fans, they're craving to win. And if Conte comes out and say, I want Lukaku, they're going to get him Lukaku, and they may consider a swap, Lukaku, Harry Kane. That's my opinion, but I could be wrong.
Anyway, Blue Lounge, I'd like to say my part, and then I have to move to jump onto Sadiq's stream.
Yes, just let me finish my point, and you can jump in. The other thing I want to add more is I also, aside from Lukaku replacement, of course, Harry Kane, Lewandowski are my top two options. Lewandowski is way more realistic. Nkunku, I'm not sure. I don't know much about him. His stats don't, nothing special, to be honest. And there is that Portuguese guy or plays in Portugal. I'm not sure where he's from, but
Rafael Leao.
Nunes maybe.
Darwin Nunes, Uruguayan.
Yeah, so I also don't know him, to be honest. I don't know much about him, so I'm not gonna comment. Scamacca, I said couple weeks ago, is someone I like from Serie A. I think he's linked with Arsenal now. He looks decent. The other thing, aside from striker, in terms of who should we get in, I think Mahrez is a great shout out as well, because Mahrez is a proven Premier League player. He can score goals. Yes,
Mahrez for me is another Dembele type of player. We need finishes. Yeah, finishes. Well, yeah. Mahrez for me is a next level. Is an upgrade to what we currently have.
Mm-hmm.
So if we bring in Mahrez, we bring in Dembele, and we part with.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Cooking.
Sell Werner, sell Lukaku. Get Mahrez in. We can if we can get Dembele and a striker. Why not? Because when I look at Chelsea, and this is why I'm suggesting Mahrez. Chelsea and City are actually very similar. The struggles that City have been facing are also similar to our struggles. City, they waste a lot of chances. A lot of the players they have up front are such wasters, especially Sterling. And they lacked a finish. They lacked a number 9, and that's why they got Haaland. And that costed them the Champions League. And it almost costed them the Premier League. So Chelsea needs depth. I don't mind getting Mahrez, getting Dembele, getting a Lewandowski, for example, up front, sorted. Sell Werner, one of the second highest on wages. Sell Lukaku, highest on wages. Both of them not scoring enough goals, not contributing enough to the team. You bring in a proper striker, two world-class wingers, because Mahrez and Dembele are world-class. That is how you go into the season next year saying, okay, now I feel I have an attacking front line that can match with the Cities and the Liverpools. Because if I have injuries, I have enough depth to come in with the same quality, if not better, to replace what I have. So in terms of upfront, that's my view.
Julius, I'm going to come back to you because I want you to address the Tuchel, Todd Boehly tactics moving forward. But before I come back to you, I'm going to let Nipin have his say, and then we'll let him head out because he needs to go.
Well, yeah. All I'm going to say is that just give Tuchel what he wants, and yeah, if Boehly backs Tuchel, we could be in for a really good rebuild. But yeah, I'd just shout out my channel before I head on to Worldwide Chels. Also, subscribe to Worldwide Chels if you haven't already. And yeah, all I want to say is keep the blue flag flying high, and yeah, just if Lukaku wants to leave, just let him leave.
Well, what about subscribe to the Blue Lounge Nipping? Come on, you give all the shout-outs to every other channel. Come on, shout out this channel.
Sorry, and subscribe to the Blue Lounge
there we go.
Already. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me on. Hopefully, you can have me on again sometime soon.
It's my pleasure, lads. The link that is on your screen and it's in the chat. That is to Nipin's channel, so make sure you go and show him some support.
Can I come back next Sunday, please?
I'll have to think about it, Nipin. No, I'm joking, mate. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, see you next Sunday, Blue Lounge.
Take care, brother. Have a good one. Bye bye. Cheers, Nipin. Cheers. Guys, Worldwide Chels, great content, great channel. Nipin's channel, NS Sports TV. Go show him some love. This is the link in the chat. All right. I know MDT, Chris, and Podfather want to also get in on this, but let me give Julius a chance to complete his statement. Julius, Todd Boehly, vision for Chelsea. Is this going to be a big transfer window and that's it? We're going to get mediocre windows coming. Do you see Todd Boehly giving Tuchel what he wants in regards to players? And what do you think Tuchel is going to be looking to do moving forward? Are we adjusting our formation, our system, or is it more of the same?
In terms of formation and system, it's gonna come down to the type of players we end up signing. It's a little bit hard to anticipate. Tuchel is a big time tactical manager, and he can catch you off guard with how he plans things. So I'm not sure if I can anticipate the system we'll be implementing next season. All comes down to the players we sign. When it comes to Todd Boehly and if he will back Tuchel, I think he will. We're yet to see, but what I'm interested in is swiftness, quick speed, and smart signings. I don't want to sign players for the sake of signing players. I want to sign players that Tuchel wants, and I want to be quick about it. Something like we have two hot transfers now. Koundé, Dembele. If those are the players that Tuchel wants, let's get them done. Let's not drag this story until the end of the transfer window and then end up signing someone last minute and ends up not being what we need. It's gonna be an interesting window. It's actually very hard to predict because we have a new ownership. We're trying to rebuild right now, unfortunately. I can't believe champions of Europe rebuilding.
Champions of the world.
Champions of the world. We have to rebuild. That shows you how incompetent we are as a club when it comes to sustaining success. Um, so I'm looking forward to see what the new ownership are gonna have to bring. And you know what? Clear Lake Capitals, I think that's what they're called, right?
Yeah.
Those are, and let's see, I could be wrong, but I think people talk a lot about Todd Boehly and stuff, but I'm keeping an eye on Clear Lake because both of the owners from Clear Lake, they may be the big factor of why we will succeed going forward. The Iranian owner, and I think the other one is from South America, right? Paraguayan. And you know, the Iranians and the Paraguayans are big time football fans. And these guys, their assets are about $90 billion. So
They own 60% of the club. They,
they
they
also
are the major. They are the major stakeholders
absolutely
in this deal.
and
I'm just gonna talk to you for 1 second, Julius. Um, Iqbali, the joint founder or the co-founder of Clear Lake Capital, is a massive football fan, and I have a feeling we could see him take on a more active role in running the club as someone who is on the board. I mean, he is an owner, but he can also have a more administrative role. He is actually more hands-on when it comes to certain aspects of the club. Todd Boehly is the face of the consortium, but Todd Boehly isn't the only one making decisions. Iqbali will be having a massive role to play in the running of Chelsea Football Club. It's just going to take a little bit more time before we start to see how this ownership is going to transition in taking the reins in running Chelsea Football Club. There's a lot more developments this season than just the transfer window when it comes to how is Chelsea going to be run in the future. You're going to see a lot of change coming up. Mamina Gavaskaya, Bruce Spark, and the rest of the people, there's a lot of developments in respect to that. Go ahead, Julius.
yeah, I second what you said exactly. I think with time, hopefully on a positive note, people will realize how big of a deal having Clear Lake as part of the owners and the biggest they own the biggest stake of the club. So we are actually a lot more, I'd say, stronger financially than when we were under Roman Abramovich on paper. Hopefully, we can convert this into actual actions and see if they can actually make the club successful. The difference between the ownership of Chelsea and the other American owners of the other clubs is that we're owned by American consortium or American Swiss consortium, but in reality, one of the American owners we have is a proven successful businessman and proven successful sport owner to his club in LA, and the other two big owners who owns even bigger shares than the American owners at Chelsea are not actually native, or like not native, like let's say American Americans. They have Middle Eastern background, South American background. That is a big difference between the Glazers and the Cronkies. So
Iqbali was born in Iran.
yeah,
Iqbali was born in Iran, yeah.
exactly, yeah. So this is a huge difference in terms of the structure and how they see things when it comes to football. And you know, I'm very excited because I'm very grateful to Roman Abramovich. He put Chelsea on the map, but I've never been a fan of the way we run the club, even though we were successful. And many times before, as a Chelsea fan, this is an unpopular opinion, but I have to be honest. Like I was many times on like was sick of it, and I said a couple of times back in the days, I'm Roman out because of how he used to sack managers left, right, and center, that ruthlessness, lack of structure, lack of planning, gamble, so much money spent with no planning, and And it was successful, and I was proven wrong a couple of times. But I just can't accept that model. Personally, I can't accept it.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited and looking forward to more organized management system, operational system, plan ahead, not just having someone writing check, go buy this guy, go sell that guy, sack this manager, hire that manager. I don't like that. So I'm looking forward for the new ownership.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that is different for Roman Abramovich and the Boehly Consortium is Roman Abramovich was a fan as well as an owner. He dealt with the club with the same emotion as a fan. And this is why when you don't win a title, you get so angry, you're like, sack the manager, get someone else in. Because you're a fan. And that's what fans do. They're like, we want quick action, quick response. However, Todd Boehly, I think he eventually will become a fan. And so will all of the members of the consortium. But I think at the same time, they are more business oriented, stats oriented, number crunchers, rather than, just let's get quick fixes, quick solutions. And hopefully that will enable us to have a more of a legacy approach to Chelsea Football Club. I haven't heard from MDT, Podfather, and Chris in respect to this topic. So let me
sorry,
you guys in.
I have to go. Good to see you all. MDT, I miss you, my brother. I'm happy to see you on back on the Blue Lounge. So, but yeah, thanks.
Yeah, same here, Julius. Okay,
Julius,
take care.
Friday.
Say hi to the family.
See you Friday night.
See you Friday. Have a good one. Bye.
Take care. Bye, Julius. Bye.
Yeah, more
right, MDT. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
For me, with Todd Boehly and the consortium, one thing I am not worried about. I think our sponsors and income, when it comes to marketing departments or whatever, that's going to be increased significantly. I'm not worried about that. And also the stadium, I think they're going to work on that. But who knows what's going to happen, because this is a group of consortium. They're going to check if the maths don't work. It's going to be an interesting thing that come up with Stamford Bridge. I'm not worried about that. But to be honest with you, I don't think they will spend money this summer. It will be suicidal for them to do. Chelsea have lost money.
I'm hearing 200 million MDT. You don't think so?
No. Oh, no. I bet that 200 million includes transfer fee and wages. Because that's how, when they put a budget, that's how they do it. The newspapers, they splash 200 million. But that 200 million will include transfer fees and wages. Okay, so let's put it this way. Since Chelsea were sanctioned, we didn't sell anything. We've made losses. We've lost sponsors. So next year, our book, I won't be surprised if Chelsea are in the red. So it will be stupid for them to just open a checkbook, don't even know what financial state we're gonna be in next year. So for me, this transfer, it will be better for them to trim, get rid of the high earners who wants to go or needs to go, and restructure. Because I believe that I don't think we'll compete next year. If top four, we still have the squad for top four. So they might do like three or four maximum signing. But when you look at the squad, because we've lost Rudiger, we've lost Christensen, most likely Aspi will go, Alonso will go. So you need a backup for the left wing back and the right wing back. We play 3 at the back, which means that you need minimum 5 centre back. We only have 2 currently. So if you check the amount of players we need, it's a lot of players. And they need to sell before they buy. Because the reason is it would be stupid for them to just bring in players. Because the players we lost, people forgot this. They're not our top earners. They're part of our lower earners. So technically, they're not on a lot of money, football term. The Rudiger, the Christensen, even if Aspi goes and what. So, but the players you're bringing in, they're going to be some of the top earners. So you need to trim the wage bill. Fans don't like to hear this, but this is reality. That's going to happen. So this 200 million they're talking about, I don't think he include only transfer fee. He will include transfer with wages. And if we sell players, then our budget will increase. But without selling players, I don't think they will be stupid enough to just go and spend 200 million without reducing significantly the wage bill and bringing in income, because we've lost money since the Samsung. Chelsea haven't made money. Okay, so people have forgotten. We are not in a strong financial footing yet, and they need this transfer. I won't be surprised if it's just to trim. And also, when people are saying for Chelsea to back the manager, get the players the manager wants, for me, sometimes it's a two-way. If a manager said they want 5 players, you can get 2 or 3 maximum the manager's choices. But the other 2 has to be from the sporting directors. Because when a manager leaves and they leave a player behind, like when Conte left and left us with wing back, what happened? Sarri came in and struggled. He didn't want to play 3 at the back. So this is the thing. You cannot buy a player that managers want and leave your club full with players that managers want. Look, we had Alonso, we have Emerson, Zappacosta, all those players, we're contest players. Okay, and now they're on loan somewhere or whatever. This is the things. You cannot just be buying with what manager wants. And also, for me, when I look at Chelsea, I look at what people talk about sacking. Yeah, Roman did that a lot. But when you look back, Ancelotti, look at what he did at Real Madrid. This Real Madrid team is an old team, but when he went, he didn't do changes. What he did, he played the players to their strength. Okay? Because this year they didn't have the money. What did they do? They trimmed the wage bill. They got rid of who? They got rid of Varane. They made money by selling him and by saving money as well. They brought in Alaba for free. They give him signing-on fee, which they save money, because the money they sell Varane replaced Madrid replaced Varane with Alaba and save money, and they get rid of what's his name, Ramos, and save money. If you check what they did, they didn't do crazy thing this summer to save money to be able to do something this summer. Sorry, last summer to be able to do something this summer. They brought in a manager that can manage a team. He doesn't need new players or whatever. Ancelotti did the same thing at Chelsea when he came. He didn't need a lot of signing. He just used the players and managed the players, play them to their strength, and he won. Okay, I don't believe in this Barcelona way or City way or Liverpool way or whatever, have a manager 10 years or whatever. No, I don't believe in that. I believe if you have a system that works for you, do it. Real Madrid change manager every 3 years. It's not affecting them. Juventus change manager every 3 years. It doesn't affect them. It's not a big deal. All you do, have a structure. If you have a good structure, believe me, any good manager will come in and they will do well with the players. But if you buy in players specifically for a certain manager, that's a disaster.
So
it's like
you don't agree with the Arsene Wenger, Ferguson, Pep, Klopp model?
No.
To have that?
You know why? You know why? Look at what happened at Dortmund when Klopp left. Look at Arsenal. Look at Manchester United. Wait until Pep left City. City, they have money, they will do it. But wait until Klopp left Liverpool. Okay, and when Klopp need to rebuild properly, because things like that. This is the thing. When you have a manager for too long, they have their players. It creates a problem. You have to have a sporting director. The club has to be strong within. The manager should be the face, but the manager shouldn't be the engine. The engine should be the sporting director, the people behind the scene. That's how a club should run. This is not a sole trader. It should be like a limited company or something like that. Okay, so Ferguson, Arsene Wenger, and Klopp, the way they operate. Look at Barcelona. The mess at Barcelona. People think Barcelona's mess started now. No. Look, go back and check. They bought Zlatan. They get rid of Samuel Eto'o. They made losses. People forgot that. Okay. And remember that Ukrainian defender they bought, one of the world most expensive defender Barcelona bought under Pep? Go and check. It's been going on for a long time. It's a 10-year process. They've been losing money. here and there, things like that. So when you have a manager, you keep buying players for that manager. It creates problem when the managers leave. Okay, if Tuchel needs 10 players, get him 4. But the sporting director should buy players for Chelsea. Whichever manager come in, that players they can fit in any system. You just can't buy players for managers. It doesn't work. In the long run, it's a disaster. I don't get it, because look at all those clubs you're talking about. Look at Manchester United now. How many years now? 9 years? There's no structure. Look at Arsenal. No structure. Even Juventus, they have Marcello Lippi for 3-4 years, he left. They go through other managers, he came back for 3 years, he left. They have Antonio Conte, he was there for 3 years. They have, what's his name? Allegri left after 3-4 years. And even they don't make decisions. He was the sporting director. It was Luciano Moggi before, and it was Pepe Morata afterwards. Okay, so these are the things. We need a structure which is stronger. The manager should be the face of it. Tuchel is a good manager, but I don't trust Tuchel's decision making on buying players. I don't trust it, because what is he gonna do when he fall out with the player? It's not his money. Okay, Tuchel wants this player and that player. You bought the players and they come in and they're not happy with the way Tuchel playing them. What about if they fall out? Okay, and you sack Tuchel and they fall out with the players. You can't get rid of the players because they were bought for specific system. Okay, so these are the things. So we have to realize that football is not like because of you love something, it has to happen. It doesn't work like that. It's like going with your kid to a supermarket or whatever. They want everything. That's what they want. But it's you who, as the parent or the adult, that should say, no, I'm not giving you this. This is what's good for you, on things like that. Fans are like that. You can love Tuchel, you can love it, because the thing is, I used to love Mourinho's like that. But look at what Mourinho did. Mourinho set us back. As much as we are talking, Chelsea should have had minimum 6-7 Premier League titles. Minimum 7. But look at the players he sold. His first trip, he got rid of some of our top players. The second time around, he got rid of a lot of young players. They're not ready. They're not this. They're not good in my system. They cannot play this. And we agree. The fans, we bought everything Mourinho was saying. And now we realize that it wasn't true. Mo Salah wasn't Kevin De Bruyne. All of the players that he said they were not ready or they were not good for his system, it was baloney. It's because he didn't want to play them in their right position. Sometimes managers can be stubborn too. So we should keep that in mind. Yeah, give Tuchel what he wants, but I don't believe in giving him everything he wants. Give him a tool that he can work with, and then give him few players that he wants. Yes, you gotta balance it. I don't believe in giving him everything he wants, because that's crazy. Sorry, that's my take on it. That's my take on that side.
All right, MDT, thank you, Chris. Before you leave, just for those of you who don't know, Chris had surgery yesterday on his knee, so he's on painkillers. So I'm pleased that you're able to be on the show. I'll let you have a couple of minutes because I know you have to go. So give me your final thoughts before you leave, Chris. He's gone. Guess those painkillers kind of knocked him out. MDT, look, brother, I'm not sure how to respond to you, because there are elements to what you said which I totally understand and totally agree with. But there are other elements that I'm not so keen on. And I agree that we've seen success not only at Chelsea, but other clubs have also had success with managers coming in for a couple of seasons and then being rotated out of the door. As they come in, they have a manager's bounce and probably end up winning a trophy, a title. And we've seen that. We saw it with Conte, and he came in, he won a title. We saw it with others in the past. But I think what we need at our club is a little bit more of a, what's the word here? Something consistent. Consistency. We want to see more consistency from our club in regards to the manager. We've had very few that lasted more than 18 months. And we want to see a little bit more consistency. And maybe it's not a good thing. You could be right. But at the same time, I think it's something we want to see. We want to try. I'm going to bring
Yeah,
in...
but sorry,
You
just
go
let
ahead.
me just answer that. Why, just I agree with you. We want consistency. Even that's what I want. But I believe that the consistency is the best part of the consistency is having a structure behind the scene, a sporting director, a brilliant scouting department, things like that. So the manager will be just the head of everything. Okay, like the face to represent it. But if you can have any manager you want, if you don't have that structure behind it, you just buy the players that the manager wants. Believe me, it's a disaster. It's a disaster. It doesn't work. All the clubs that are suffering, the big clubs, AC Milan, you name it, why they went through this struggle, it was because of somebody was just buying players and just hoping they work. Because the manager liked this player, you have to, is the structure behind even Liverpool people are talking. It's Michael Edward. Michael Edward behind the scene that's doing wonderful job. Okay, even Man City is Chichi Bijeristein and the other one, what's his name? Frank Sanar, what's his name? Is it Serrano or Seriano? Okay, that's what we lack at Chelsea. People that are football people that will make the right call for us to be able to do great things. Whichever manager we brought in will be able to do their job easily. But I don't believe in buying every player the manager wants just to please the manager. No. Managers get things wrong. Sorry about that.
No, I agree with you 100%. But if we had a scouting system that was working adequately, I would go with that. But we don't. Maybe we need to have a balance. Podfather, give me your thoughts on this. Because you've been quiet for a little while. Todd Boehly, action plan, Thomas Tuchel, system, approach. How do you see this going forward? Are you there, Podfather? You're on mute. Alright, maybe Podfather isn't there. Boogeyman is on the phone. Podfather isn't there. Alright. Look, guys, I'm gonna wrap up the stream. People, this type of format, this type of stream, and I know it's been just under 3 hours, but because it's gonna be once a week, I am gonna do this stream to this kind of length. It is gonna be 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours, because we're only doing one stream a week, one panel stream a week. You will get another stream on a Friday night, which is different, transfer related stream. You may also get a few streams during the week where it'll be just me, but panel related stream discussion is always going to be Sunday night. Every Sunday night we're going to discuss all the topics and the news of that week or of that day, depending on what's hot topic at the time we're going live. This stream has been fantastic. The response has been great. We're 4 likes away from 200, which is fantastic. We're on 196. So if you're watching and you haven't hit the like button, you could make the difference by just hitting the like button and getting us to 200 likes for the stream. We've had a lot of people join the channel today. So big up to everyone who's joined. Big up to all the new subscribers and all the people who are partaking in the chat. I've been reading the chat. Great discussion. Still doing Friday transfer stream? Yes, definitely. That will be on 8 p.m, 9 p.m, 10 p.m. I'm not sure on the time just yet, but it will be possibly between 9 to 10 p.m. on a Friday night. It'll be a 1 hour transfer stream with Andreas Kosnord and Julius. So we'll be discussing all the latest transfer news together on that stream. So that will be a transfer stream on Friday night. I will be releasing trailers and information in respect to it over the next few days. So hopefully you guys will get that and see that. Before I go, I want to give Boogeyman, MDT, and Podfather, if they're still around, a couple of minutes to give me the final thoughts. We'll start with Boogeyman. Boogeyman, your final thoughts for tonight.
Oh, yo, thanks for having me. The Blue Lounge still there. Thanks for people in the chat. Listen, once every week, especially Sundays, I'll be here talking. So you all invited to say or to listen to me. The best critics of Chelsea FC. Yo, tonight, listen, there was a good conversation. Things for me so far, this transfer has not started. This transfer window has not started yet, so we should not be panicking. Dembele coming or not, I'm not really worried, to be honest, because the team was we're rebuilding. Rebuilding is always about building around a core, and we have the core: Mount, James, the Chalobah, the Havertz. Um, those 4 or 5. I think last time I had 5 young players that we have in our team that are really talented, and we should build around those players. And as much as we tend to worry, last season, minus Rudiger, the team we had, we were leading the league up to sometime the end of November or something. We were leaders in this league. So if this season we're not playing all those World Cup and all those stuff, we have a team to actually fight for top 4. And I just think for some reason we just panicking talking about if we don't sign 3, 4, 6, 7 players, then Chelsea has no future or Chelsea is not now. I just think Tuchel has to do better. As much as I love the coach, I think he cost us a lot this season. And people may disagree with it, but that's the sad truth. When you have a team of young players that are so inconsistent, they rely on the coach to make the right decision, to make those call at the right time to help them win games. If I go back to the Real Madrid game when Tuchel was blaming the Stamford Bridge pitch that we play. Oh, that the reason why the ball was bouncing, Christopher cannot control the ball on the pitch. I said, what a load of crap. So listen, me, I'm not too into signing and all those things. I just think Tuchel need to actually get his act right. He is one of the best. He is the 4th best coach in the league because after Pep, Jurgen Klopp, and Antonio Conte. Then come Tuchel, and in Europe, I think I will put Ancelotti before him. So he is in the top range of coaches. So we just asked him to start helping this team, and they are inconsistent. We know that, but he needs to get his call right. Substitution has to be right. The selection has to be. Even if the selection are not right, the substitution has to be right. And so I don't care about whether we sign or we don't sign. I know Rudiger position has to be. We need to find someone reliable, but I'm not worried. So let's see what happens, and let's see if Todd Boehly will back Tuchel or back the entire Chelsea team. That's all I can say at this point. Okay, man. Thanks for having me.
Cheers, Boogie.
I gotta
Take care of yourself, brother. All right, have a good one. See you next week. Take care, Boogie. All right, I think Podfather's still not back. I'm going to go to MDT, get the final thoughts from MDT before we end the stream. MDT, do you want to add anything before we go?
Yeah, I just want to say, like, to be honest with you, me, as far as I'm concerned, I think the team is there to finish top 4 next season as well. If we want to compete, let's say we want to win certain things, then even cup competition, this team is good enough to win cup competition. It's just the league we will not with the currently constructed team. But I'm not That's not a concern. For me, what my main concern this season is to make sure the owners don't make a mistake where they go and spend all the money they have reserved, and then next summer, which might be the most important summer, and then they like, remember when we had the embargo, we went and spent all our money. So that's the thing. To be honest, deep down, when it comes to me, I don't think we should even sign all these players people are talking about. We should try to look for free agents that can fill certain positions, because free agent that can fill certain positions, and also look within the academy to fill certain positions rather than spend money that we don't. Sometimes less is more. Less is more sometimes.
The audio of the door is drilling holes in my ears, but I'll just put you on mute for a second.
It's the kid. He's chasing me.
It's okay.
Just wake up. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Nah, it's all good, brother. It's all good, MDT. MDT, thank you for coming on, brother. We will see you again next Sunday. And it's been a pleasure to have you back on the Lounge. Inshallah. Good night.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Pleasure. You too.
Okay? You too.
Ma'asalama.
Yes.
Ma'asalama. Bye-bye. Wow. Podfather's still not back. So that is it for tonight. Did we hit 200? We did. 207 likes. Fantastic. Well done, lads. Thank you all for being here. It's been a pleasure to host the stream. It's been a pleasure to have everyone who's been here. I'm just trying to think what outro to play. Do you guys want to go old school? I'm going to play this one. I think I'll make this the outro of choice moving forwards. Have a good night, my friends. I'll see you all on Friday night for the transfer show. Take care of yourselves. Peace.